everyone.
Welcome back to the fun, except it's just feelings this time.
It's lots of feelings. There was some fun, some things that needed to happen and or be
There were
said.
dad jokes.
There were dads also.
Dads and
So
dad jokes.
dads,
Dad jokes by
exactly.
Scylla.
And there were moms committing felons, which is what I like to see. So something for everyone.
Moms. We had a lot of moms in this episode, and some of them were kind of scary.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Thanks, guys.
I love the title of this one because it's a book club, and I love book clubs.
Yeah, it is book club, and it's actually a really fun book club they have in this
I want to go to
story.
this book club.
This book club is crazy, but we'll get there. So, for
Yeah.
all your book club needs, you can thank Nikki McCauley. So, thanks, Nikki, for book club, and our director, Shannon Coley, once again with the big guns.
Oh, God. I'm so glad you got the opening scene.
I keep getting all the homophobia scenes, and I don't like it.
You're welcome.
It's the way the alternating scenes things works. But we don't start at book club. We start with bigotry. And we're in New York, which makes me mad because that's where I'm originally from. So this is gross. And Silver is there kicking off like the economy or something at some nauseatingly patriotically named place called the Liberty Trade Center. Like, ew. Gross. But he's not alone. He's with some world leaders and Kara, his advisor. So now she's just everywhere, and I hate it.
She's like the Visa card you don't want. It's everywhere you don't want to be.
She's like herpes. She doesn't go away.
She's the goddess of Hercules.
Right. Which is what herpes is what Silver deserves. So there you have it.
Surprise, surprise.
And so they're here with world leaders, not really to talk about the economy, even though that's what the news is saying they're doing. They're there talking about the rise of fascism. I mean, genealogy. I mean, both. And apparently, Silver enacted this project to trace witch bloodlines, and they're trying to, like, find all the missing witches in the world to, like, help them or whatever, aka identify and genocide them. And so, like, call back to, like, this is what the Camarillo was doing in season 2 with, like, identifying all the bellwether lines, even though, and no one else knew they were doing it. So this is, like, taking that thing the Camarillo was doing in the shadows and bringing it to light, basically, and now involving the rest of the world. Because all these creepy dudes seem super into it. They're like, yeah, kill the women. Let's do it. You guys are going to be the experiment, and if it goes well, we'll roll this thing out globally. So that's really what this kick off the economy meeting is all about. It's disgusting. Whatever. And Silver announces that he's like, cool, the experiment is starting in NorCal, which is where the Cravens live, which is terrible. Because, like, that's like the peace and love place. So, of course, they would start there. And part of this plan not only is like identifying them genealogically, but now they're also like identifying them and making the witches wear collars. So, like, call back to Nazi Germany, where they're just like, we're just identifying you. Like, where are these stars? Where are these triangles? It's totally fine. We just need to know. We just need to know. Nothing bad's going to happen after that. Wink.
I hate it here.
I mean, this is what happens. We need to identify you guys. We need a registry for
so we
your
can protect
safety.
You.
Protect you. And then you see it later when they're in NorCal, where it's like they basically make violence out of nothing, and then for an excuse to detain them, like, lawfully, and then they execute them. So this is the way they're doing modern witch hunting. It's like, we're slowly going to identify you guys, then we're going to, like, cause problems, blame you, and then everyone else will be afraid of you, and then we have authority to then detain you, execute you, all that stuff. That's really what this is, but it's like they're slowly rolling it out, because, like, if you change something too quickly, people freak out, but if you do it slowly, people get used to it and then don't question it anymore. So that's what they're doing. And part of their rationale here too is they're like, hey, the witches are cool with it too, because, like, the collars come off. So, like, they have this illusion that it's like a choice, it's not a big deal, but, like, we'll escalate it soon. Don't worry.
The frog analogy.
Yeah, go for it. I don't even have that in my notes. So if you want to talk about the frog analogy, go for it.
Kara,
Who
whatever that
cares?
bitch's
Who
name
cares?
is.
Say her name right. Fuck her. Yeah. K word. That girl. That
that
bitch.
that walking herpes.
Walking herpes. Yeah. Walking herpes chimes in with an animal analogy that's not in Motherland fashion. It's gross.
No, this is not at all animal insult time, army style.
No.
This is
Murder.
walking Hercules talking about how if you put a frog in freezing water and then boil it afterwards, it doesn't notice that it's like fucking dying and being boiled alive. That is the most disgusting analogy that I have heard in this show to date, and it made me want to vomit and throw things at the screen and reach. Like, I'm not sure if I ever met the actress in person, if I could like look her in the face and not want to like slap her just because of that analogy. It was so bad. And she's probably a very lovely, delightful person. I'm sorry, Emily.
Your character makes us upset. You're doing your job well. That's all we're saying.
You're doing a very good job. The way you said that whole frog thing made me want to just like vomit in your Cheerios.
I don't understand why they use that as the analogy, because usually you like, I don't know where in nature that's happening, because usually we say lobsters because when you cook lobsters, this is trigger warning, skip ahead 30 seconds if murder upsets you. But like basically with lobsters, you put them in room temperature water in the pot, and then if you like increase the heat slowly, they don't realize they're being boiled and they don't try to escape. So that's what she's saying, but like I don't know who's doing this with frogs? Like they would
Oh,
explode. Like that's
honey,
disgusting.
it's a southern thing, girl.
You
Frog
boil
legs.
frogs? I mean
You
frog
boil some
legs, but
frogs.
you boil them alive? You don't kill them first?
Girl,
I don't
somebody out
know.
there is bowling frogs and you know what's happening.
I prefer the lobster analogy. I don't have to think about gooey stuff. But
You know, I
anyway,
don't know why
sure.
they pick frogs, honestly. It's
I don't
just
get
that
it. A scummy, I guess. Well, like, okay, I can kind of see why, thinking of Elliot, why he would pick it, because like if you think about the Camarilla, they don't think of the witches as human. That's the whole problem with fascism. It's us versus them, and they are bad and evil and not even human. So like we can justify doing terrible things for them because we're fighting the war of righteousness against them. We have right on our side, so we can kill them. So in their minds, like the witches aren't human. So like he's picking an animal that's like not really a land dweller, not really a sea dweller. It's like in the middle. So like I guess that's kind of why he picked it. Because like if like the Camarilla sees themselves as like the land animals, the lions or whatever, they're like, that thing's not really a land dweller. It also lives in the sea. I can't categorize this thing. It's other. Maybe that's why they picked it. I don't
actually
know.
I think it is an actual like phrase or like a boiling for yeah, it is a thing.
Is it? All right. I mean, sure. I've always heard the lobster analogy, but sure. Either
No,
way, like,
it's
yeah, it's because if you change something too quickly, the thing realizes something's changing and it freaks out. But if you do it slowly, they get used to it and they don't realize danger is happening. That's what she's saying.
yeah, it's from the 19th century. They did experiments with frogs.
Interesting. There you have
Just
it, folks.
FYI. It's an epilogue describing a frog being slowly boiled alive. Blah, 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 blah. The premise. And it's used as a metaphor and in philosophy. So,
Sorry, PETA.
he's pulling it from actual 19th century experiments and the analogy that came from that.
I mean, that's on brand.
It sounds like some asshole fascist political philosophy bullshit.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was
is.
used in fascist political philosophy.
I mean, maybe. This is literally what the Nazis did. I mean, it's probably in that manifesto I will never read from Nazis. So yeah, this
Yes.
is exactly what fascists do.
All
So,
right.
yeah,
But guess
so
what?
wait, then do you have more about the frog before we get to
No. The frog's over. Let's move on.
Yes, frog's over. All the men in the room are super excited about this, escalating with genocide stuff. They're going to try it out in their countries. Then Albin bursts in. And he is there to tell Kara and Silver about what happened with the fugitives at the end of the last episode, where he's like, I had them, but they got away. And, you know, the River Council was there. And Kara's like, whatever. Great, great. The council had the fugitives, the people we want for treason, and they were harboring them. Wonderful. Because they didn't give them back to us, that means the Session broke their treaty with the United States. Cool. Silver, we now have an excuse to invade the Session, which was part B on our master plan. So thanks, Albin, for that. So now we can slowly take over the Session, too. That was the last piece, because the Session is this period, place in America where witches and civilians live in harmony and there's no issues. And, like, fascists can't have that. Because if you have a place that exists where it's like, look, they live peacefully, this isn't a big deal, then their ideology, it shines light on how stupid it is. And so they're like, we got to break that up because we can't have this. So cool. They have an excuse to now invade the Session. They just need Congress to sign some papers and then they can go do it. Cool. They have the votes. That's wonderful. But Albin's like, yeah, whatever. But Alder's back. That's a bigger issue. And she's like a super witch now. What the fuck are we going to do? And everyone looks shook for like a second. But Kara's like, nobody cares. Like, just go away, Albie. Like, thanks, leave, please leave. But she's a mushroom woman, and she's like, kill the fucking mushroom and get out of my office. Like, what is this? Go, Albin, go do whatever. So that's that.
I love how she's just nonchalant about all of that. Like, fuck off, Albin. Go kill the mushroom. It'll be fine. Whatever. She's just discounting Alder, and Alder's out here finding the first song, and it's like, you idiot.
I mean, it's a product of having extreme arrogance. They're getting all the W's right now. They're like, we're about to take over the Session. Then we have the whole United States. These guys are going to help us take over the globe. Like, we've got this. We're killing the mycelium. It's whatever. It just needs more poison. Like, we got this. It's fine. Mm-hmm. It's just extreme arrogance. I don't know if this will. Yeah.
Arrogant. Kara Hercules would be there.
Yeah. And I don't know if like this will actually be their downfall or who knows, but yeah, it seems like they are obviously super arrogant. Mm-hmm, so maybe that's just what this is.
So are you good? Because the next scene's a little more pleasant. Yeah, I'm over it too.
I'm over it.
Let's go on back to the Session and hang out with Abigail, Scylla, and Tally, who are standing at the bar in the hotel thing they've been staying at. And Thelma comes in. You know, they talk about how Alder is, and they're like, well, we need to get her back to Fort Salem so she can get in the mycelium and heal, because she looks like a damn zombie at this point. And looks even worse later on. Oh, so yeah. Thelma says that the person that tipped off the Camarilla had to be a member of the council or one of their staff. So who the hell's working with the damn Camarilla? And are they a witch? Because if they are, WTF. Abigail says that she'll talk to her mom. And Scylla says that about all of the council person being a snitch. And Scylla says that she can tell Abigail how to sneak on base because she's Scylla, and of course she knows how to sneak on base. How do you think she did it all first season? Mm-hmm. And then says to all, is like, hey, can you find out about Raylla and whatever with Alder? But she's not going to go because she has to get Edwin somewhere safe. Edwin's already almost had his life taken by the Camarilla, so she's not going to... Like, Raylla would want her to get him somewhere safe. Obvi. Tally's going to go home to check on her mom. And then she, has a moment where she looks at the fire. And we all know she's remembering her vision of Raylla and all of that stuff because she's been thinking about it ever since then because it's a big deal. And guess what? Abigail, once again, gaslights the shit out of Tally and accuses her of obsessing about her doomsday prophecy. It's like she's not fucking Nostradamus. She actually sees stuff. And Scylla's kind of like, what the fuck? What do you mean doomsday prophecy? What is she talking about? So, of course, no one else knew about it, including Scylla, who's once again been left out. Abigail insists that it's nothing and that Nicta scrambled her site with that spree garbage work, which, hi, Scylla's right fucking there.
Also, like, didn't Tally use her scrambled spree work to get you Kalita?
Thank
Like,
you.
I don't understand Abigail. It's like, again, I don't understand Abigail. It's like the magic's fine when it's serving Abigail, but when it's not, it's gaslight Tally time. I don't get this at all. It's ridiculous. Like, not even, I mean, yeah, Abigail is arrogant or whatever, but like, your unit mate slash sister is obviously worried about this, and you're just still dismissing her like she's and telling her she's crazy. It's fucking ridiculous. I
It's so
don't.
bad the way that she
It's so
says it.
bad. It really is. She's like, "You're crazy, Tally." Nicta's ridiculous.
Yeah, first of all,
Like what?
why are you still slamming on Nicta who's not even there?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, you're once again bad mouthing spree work, which has fucking saved your ass how many goddamn times?
Remember last time you talked to your mother with dirty spree work, Abigail? I guess it
Yeah.
was fine then.
Hey
Remember
Abigail,
when
remember
go.
remember in the last season when Scylla saved everyone's asses with dirty spree work?
Remember when she talked to Raylla with dirty spree work? Remember
Remember when
when
Nicta changed the bus and
thank
y'all got
you.
out because of
Right,
dirty spree
dirty
work?
spree work. Oh, wait. The reason you got out of the bus is in the first place is because Scylla used dirty spree work with the crows to get your ass out of the bus and used her dirty spree work to get the guards to uncuff you. It was fine then. It wasn't dirty then. That was fine. I don't get this. It's so fucking stupid. Like, it's
Why
like,
are they writing it like this?
why are we still here with Abigail? Why? Why are we still here? It's episode 6. Why are we still here? This is ridiculous. This scene made me so mad that
Me
when we
too.
got to the next scene, both times I watched this, I said out loud, thank God the adults, because they were pissing me off in this scene. It's just, this is what happens when teenagers are in charge of saving the world. It's like, all they see is their problem. Because, like, this whole conversation is like, I have to deal with my problem and, like, fuck the invasion. Where it's like, guys, that's the bigger problem. Like, you talking to your mom is, like, not the bigger issue right now. Wade's missing and the army's about to invade you. That's the big problem. And we're still gaslighting our unit mates. Like, it's fucking stupid. Like, come on, guys. This is ridiculous. And this might be like the last conversation you ever have with Tally, and you're like, you're crazy, Tally. Like, that's,
Yeah.
come on. Like, what the fuck? I can't with the scene.
You've been smoking some dirty Nicta, so you are insane and should not be trusted.
Yeah,
You can't
like
trust your site except for when it's beneficial to me.
right when Abigail's telling you to do it. It's just this is like witch prejudice is what this is, because like High Atlantic Abigail is sticking to like the old fashioned way of doing things and can't evolve, and I guess that's what this is supposed to be. It's like they're just making her so one dimensional with the stuff. It's getting on my nerves. And like
really getting on my nerves.
yeah, they're like removing her complexity as a character and just like boxing her in to be like, well, you know, she's not in the army, so she's out of her element, so she's a little lost. But like, well, you know, she only knows army society, so if she doesn't have the structure, she doesn't know what to do. So it's like she's clinging to her prejudice. That's where we're at. Like, I can't. This scene pissed me off.
Yeah, and I don't even care if they're trying to draw any parallels between the prejudice, witch on witch prejudice, and the Camaria's prejudice. I don't care. It just doesn't come off right. It's not working if that's what they're trying to do, and it's just making me mad.
And it's just like, in what universe does Abigail just dismiss Tally like this?
Yeah.
Like, How is that Abigail? How is that the Abigail Bellwether we had at the end of season 2? I don't get that. Like,
I used to enjoy Abigail, and now we're here, and I have not liked her all season.
it's just, this doesn't feel like the Abigail Bellwether that survived the Charvel stuff, the
No.
one that bonded with Raylla and Tally beyond what she had with Charvel. This doesn't feel like that Abigail wouldn't be dismissing Tally like this, who's genuinely freaking out. Like, that, when does that happen? Like, I don't get this. This doesn't feel like that Abigail.
It gives me a stomach ache, and I don't like it.
Yeah, this just seems out of character to me, and that's why it's driving me crazy. I can't
I
stand
could
that.
probably scream about that for another hour, but I guess I should say that Alder butts in at this point and says that they need to trust the mother because she has a plan. And I'm like, can you stop saying that? Like, I get it, but at the same time, you sound like a religious zealot, and it's really weirding me out. I just don't like this whole trust the mother. I just don't, it just gives me a weird vibe.
It's just because there's going to be a fake out with this vision that Tally has, so they're trying to plant seeds for that. That's all this is. It's like,
Yeah.
I just saw black nothing. It must be the end of the world. It's like, probably not. It's probably a rebirth of something, and you didn't see like the
Right.
0.5 seconds into the future, and that's what Arnold is referring to.
I just don't like the wording and the whole vibe. It just reminds me of cults for some reason.
Yeah, I feel you. I get that.
I get it, but it's on a personal level. It's bothered me. So Scylla doesn't give a shit about the mother's plan. She wants Raylla back. I mean, that's
been her plot the whole season. Yep.
Exactly. It all revolves around Scylla getting Raylla back because that's Scylla apparently is like. I get it. Like,
I get it, but I don't. But sure.
I get it, but I don't. Like, okay. If you really want to get technical, as a character, Scylla would not really be able to think about much more than getting Raylla back at a certain point. Yes, we've gotten to that point where, because she has been carrying the fucking load this entire season, let's be honest. She and Nikta and,
yeah, Petra
have been carrying. I mean, as far as with the fugitives themselves and surviving, it's been Scylla and occasional brilliance from other people and Nikta. But so I get it. She's like tired of their shit, and at this point she's focused in.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, this is not cool anymore. I want my girlfriend back. So I think she's kind of just like at the fuck this shit, I'm out point. So I get it, but at the same time, I just like, I'm like you. I'm kind of like, guys, the goddamn Camarilla are invading the session. Like, this is huge. Like,
I know. That's
a big deal.
I know. I can't stand it. And like, I do see your point with what you're saying about Scylla, like where she's at right now. Her whole plot this whole season has been get Raylla. Like, that's her only plots are like Raylla centered, and I hate that because like season 2 Scylla had a bunch of plot that was about Scylla, like Scylla doing stuff, and now it's just Raylla is her plot. It's like, come on, like yeah, like it is distressful to have Raylla in the mycelium. I get that, but like there's other stuff happening right now where like she should also kind of be involved. I don't know. It's just, again, it's like they really made them all one-dimensional right now, and it's bothering me because they're not.
I don't know if it has something to do with how they had to redo everything in the plot, but
maybe
it shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but maybe. Yeah, it really bothers me. But here we are.
So Thelma is going to arrange transportation for everyone, and then she's going to try to track down the Marshal and Wade, which good luck with that, sister, because we met the Marshal, and he's a slippery little devil.
Yes.
And then, for some reason in this episode, I mean, not for some reason. I mean, obviously, but it's like she hasn't done this all season. Then all of a sudden, Abigail's throwing out all of these army terms and things of that nature. We have our marching orders. I'm like, stop, Abigail. Like, you haven't done this all season, and now all of a sudden you're like throwing out, we have marching orders. So they all three hug. which is cute.
That was cute.
It was cute. Yeah, I can't deny that. That was like, see, there's like slight moments of brilliance where I'm like, oh, this is so cute. They're all three hugging. Like, Scylla's a part of the group now. And then I remember what Abigail said earlier in this.
I know. It's like she's with Tally. Abigail's not part of this group at all. She's faking it right now.
Oh my god. So that's the end of that scene. Do you have anything else?
No. I was mad about the gaslighting.
About the gaslighting. I'm really, 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 I want to say one more thing. I'm really enjoying Thelma.
Yes, I do like Thelma.
I love me some Thelma Bear Killer. I love how I saw so many people on Twitter calling her Thelma the Bear Killer, and I'm like, no, her name is Thelma Bear Killer.
I mean, if you want to make her a the.
But it's like, anyway, moving on.
Thelma, the silencer of Abigail's. That's what I want. Yeah. Someday. All right. So after that, we finally fucking go to the adults. Thank God. And we're at the infirmary where finally nothing bad is happening. It's the first time ever.
The first time ever in the infirmary. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's all Jesus. It's all golden Jesus light, lesbian Jesus lighting, and nothing bad happens. So that's good.
It's because the teenagers aren't there.
There's no fucking teenagers. It's just Petra coming in to check on Anacostia and Sterling. So Anacostia and Sterling, basically they snuck them on the base. So like the white angry citizens brigade has no idea that these two are there. Petra snuck them in and like is letting them recuperate in the infirmary where nothing bad is happening. And apparently nobody's monitoring the infirmary. So that's also wild. So cool, whatever. And so she's there to essentially, get more intel on this Camarilla army. Because I'm sure what happened was, like, they came in and they were, like, exhausted and, like, out of it. And, like, we're saying words. And Petra's like, oh, shit, red flags. Well, you guys calm down. I have to go appease Mr. Garrett. And then I'll come back or Jarrett, whatever the fuck his name is. And I'll come back. And so this is her coming back. And she's like, okay, that army that was super scary. Tell me more about that. Anacostia's like, well, there's, like, thousands of them. But, like, it was only on that field. Like, who knows if they have other compounds throughout the United States with these armies. So there could be more. This could just be like a sample. And so that's not great. And Petra's like, cool. Because apparently America is planning on invading the session and Silver's like working at the legality of that right now. And the minute Congress signs it, like I have to do it because like the Salem Accord. So she's like, cool. So the goal now is to like essentially legally go along with the order so I'm not in trouble with like the universe and this accord thing that's magically binding, I guess. And so we're just gonna like do the bare minimum basically and try to like not kill people and, you know, figure out getting Wade back. Really getting Wade back apparently is gonna solve anything, which I also don't understand how that solves everything, because think about it. America as a country is like eating up this bigotry crap. Like, Not Our Daughters movement is growing. There's like just genuine anger amongst the voters. Then you get Wade. That anger is still there. Like, Wade doesn't solve it. Wade's there for her term, and then the angry people vote out Wade. So it's like you're delaying this, but not stopping it forever. So I don't get how Wade is like the like savior. It's like Wade stops the madness now, but the madness is still going to happen no matter what, because that's how fascism works. So, but whatever. They're all on board for like getting Wade back and like trying to stop this. So Anacostia's like, cool, I'm going to get up and try to go back to the session. And Petra's like, slow your roll. You need to recover for a bit. And you can kick ass later. And Anacostia, the adult, is like, I can deal with me later. There's a bigger problem now, which is stopping the collapse of our civilization. Fugitives takes note from Anacostia. And then Petra's like, okay, well, tell me everything you can, and then they cut away.
Yay, Anacostia! That's all I've got.
Yay, adults.
Yay, adults. So the transportation that was arranged for Tally, I don't know if she rode in this truck all the way to California.
Who the fuck knows?
What the fuck? Did she fly part of it? Did she just ride in this truck? I'm genuinely curious. She's in the back of a truck that has like, it's like one of those trucks you use to transport like hay or
like
some shit.
Goats or yeah, hay.
So it's like just got wood sides on the back of the truck.
Yeah.
So she can hide back there.
With the goats, yeah.
They're driving down the street and she sees some police harassing a couple of witches. And if we remember, the witches in NorCal are the experiment / the frog in freezing water for the new mandates that they're easing in, which includes removable red collars that all witches are supposed to wear. So they can't do work and it identifies them. So these witches are being harassed, even though they're wearing their collars, because their kids are not wearing the collars. And so if you watch what Tally's saying, it's not like they don't go up and are just like, hey, your kids aren't wearing collars, blah, blah, blah. They're like actually assaulting these people. Yep. Openly assaulting these people. Mm-hmm. And so it has escalated, obviously.
Yep.
It's just part of the new bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, they're marketing the witches as dangerous. And so that empowers people to be like, well, you're dangerous, so I have to be ultra aggressive to you because you're dangerous. Even though it's literally a husband and wife and their 2, 4-year-olds. That's what this is.
Holding up those dumb flashlight things that detect work to them.
Yep. Right. So, welcome to fascism. Once you're other, you're not human, so they can justify doing shit like this.
Exactly. And then we go to Edwin telling Scylla the directions to where they're going, aka Quinn's house, as they stand in front of the SUV that Thelma got them for their trip. So he makes a dad joke about nothing slipping through his noggin and pretends not to remember Scylla's name, which was super cute. And ends up calling her Stella, which I thought was extra cute. But she jokes about the next 6 hours being just great. And then he steps in it and puts his foot right in his mouth on accident and asks if she ever took family road trips when she was a kid. And she says her entire childhood was one big family road trip. And then he kind of just apologizes and backtracks. And I'm like, poor Papa Collar, he just said it. He's like, I'm a nervous talker. I'm like, you're so cute, Papa Collar. And he also says that Willa, he steps in it again without even knowing it, because he says that Willa liked a quiet car ride, and that he thinks Scylla and Willa would have gotten along.
Ding. Yes.
And Scylla's like, I'm sure we would. Like, because you did.
They sure did.
Yes, they did. So there's just a really cute little exchange with Scylla and Papa Collar, even though there was some emotional stuff in there as well. And the creepy ass fascism that Tally witnesses. I don't like it. I had to go deeper on the cute parts with Scylla because to get over the whole Tally thing.
They didn't get to Quinn's house yet in this scene, did they? Or are they still
No,
driving?
they're talking about how to get to Quinn's house. Like, he's telling her the directions.
Yeah, it's really cute. And they end up bookending the cute banter here later, which was clever for the writers.
Yes, that was good, Nikki.
And also, like, the nervous talker thing from Edwin, like, Raylla does that. That's how we got the sexy weird line from Raylla, was from this trait. So I always thought that she was a lot like her dad, and, like, this was, like, good proof of that.
Absolutely.
So,
Oh God, Rael's like her dad and Scylla's like her mom.
don't read too much into that. So, all right. So Tally was in NorCal, and now near Sacramento. Now she's like officially like in NorCal, because she's home and she's rounding the corner to her home, looking like wistfully at this thing, and then notices a bunch of creepy dudes in a Ford Focus like stalking her house, and she's like, "Oh fuck."
Ford
And then,
Focus.
oh fuck. And then she sneaks in undetected in comical Tally fashion, gets inside the house as her mom, or like, I guess she has like a minute to like be nostalgic and pick up pictures before mom comes in. And there's this dude barking at her like from behind her and is like, comply with the law and like all this bullshit. So Tally hides and like mama sees her and they do this thing where like mama is like trying to distract the man because he's obviously there looking for Tally because it's an angry white citizen. So he's Camarilla, obviously, and or law enforcement because America. And basically, Tally weaves around the house while Mama distracts him until the dude leaves. And then we have a mother-daughter reunion that's super, super sweet and like finally, but also like clearly highlights that these two are very similar. And Tally's explaining, like, listen, I'm here to like get you the fuck out of here because like bad things are happening. I don't have time to explain it. You need to get the fuck out of here. We need to go to the session. And Mama's like, girl, did you not just see me with the creepy dude? Like, I got this. And Tally gets upset that her mom doesn't want to like come with her because danger. And she's also wearing this collar. And she's like, obviously things aren't fine. Like, you need to come with me. And Mom is like, no, like, this is my home. I'm not leaving my home. And besides, I heard from birds or whatever that, like, the session's probably going to get invaded. So why would we go there? That sounds like a terrible idea. I'd rather, like, defend my home. And she doesn't say all that, but, like, that's, like, her energy. And Tally's being, like, in the position of being, like, the stubborn youth who's basically, or not, she's not being stubborn. She's perceiving her mother as being stubborn. But, like, in fascist takeovers that happen slowly, what her mom's doing is pretty common. So people with like roots to their home like don't want to abandon their home. They want to stay and fight for it, or they're either in like disbelief that this is even happening, which is like what Tally's perceiving right now with her mom because she doesn't know what mom is really up to. So she's like, wow, you're being stubborn. You don't want to leave our home. Like, that's really weird. But like, this is common. Like, you don't want to leave your home. You're like, I've invested my whole life here. Like, I can't believe this. We're going to try and change things. And so that's kind of what Mama's doing and hope for the best. And so Mama's like, whatever, Tally, like, thanks, but like, help me with the groceries because like tonight's important. It's book club night. And that's the scene.
First mention of book club. First rule of book club: don't talk about book club.
Title.
So the guy that comes in, I've named him or given him a title, if you will. I don't know why, but it just stuck in my brain. I call him Giga Nazi.
Sure.
You see his haircut? It's very 1939 Germany.
Oh, I believe it. I don't pay attention enough to men to know what they look like, but I believe you.
I do when I feel threatened by them, and I felt threatened by him, and he definitely had the look, if you will. Anyway.
Wasn't he wearing a white coat? I think I couldn't get past that because I was like, what a pompous ass.
I don't think it was white. Was it?
It was a light color, wasn't it?
I think it was khaki.
Again, he's a man. I wasn't paying that much attention to him, but it just seemed like weird.
I didn't pay that much attention to his clothes, honestly. I just noticed that damn haircut and his awful face. No offense to the actor. He just looked really evil the entire episode. Which, you're doing a good job, bro.
Yep. Earned your paycheck.
Back to Fort Salem. Alder, Abigail, and Adil are creeping onto base because Scylla told them how. Yep. Apparently, Alder doesn't even know how to creep onto her own base.
I mean, she never had needed to. She
never needed to. So they had to do the Scylla Ramshorn school of how to creep onto places. So they see soldiers that are using scourges against these dummies outside. Why are they doing this outside? I don't know. I guess just so this scene can happen.
Yes. They literally could have done this inside where the dummies are already set up and still done this.
I mean,
Okay.
are they mad at the acoustics in that?
It makes no fucking sense. But also, when this first happened, I thought the person using the scourge was Isadora at first, and I was like, are they teaching her how to use the scourge? Because she doesn't look like she knows what she's doing. But it wasn't her. But in my head canon, I was
Oh
like,
my
that's actually
God.
pretty funny. If they're like, no, we need to do this outside, and you, random witch, you do it. She's like, I don't know how to do this.
They're recording the work, and why would you record outside where there are noises and stuff?
They're not
This is
smart.
dumb as hell.
This is really dumb.
Of course it's these people, so I believe they're dumb. However, it's just, I don't get it. Whatever, they just needed this thing to happen. So
They did.
I know I already said it, but they're recording the work, audio and video. And Abigail asks how Petra can allow this, but Alder's like, hey, girly, she can't really do anything about it because these people are up in her shit right now, so she's got to do what she's got to comply with it. She's bound by the Salem Accord, etc., etc. And then Abigail sasses back at Alder about how she somehow found a way around the Accord when she needed to. And Alder's like, yes, I did. And that was not great. It did not turn out well for me. So maybe stop judgmentaling here, Abigail.
Yeah, remember when I got removed without dignity from my position? Remember that, Abigail? How short is your memory? Because that just happened.
Abigail doesn't care. She just has to sass back.
I know, she's so annoying. I also had a thought too, because like in this scene, that's when Alder's really like, hey, that Salem Accord thing, it's not just paper, like it's probably like magically binding, I assume is what she's referring to. In the last episode, one before that, Silver was making his big speech, and he's like, I plan on breaking the Salem Accord. So once he breaks the Salem Accord, then Petra's free to do whatever the fuck she wants. And I also wonder if like it frees Alder maybe in the mycelium too. I don't know. Maybe it's been magically containing them somehow.
I don't
know. Maybe it will change magic. Who knows? Just the thought. Who knows? All right. So while whatever that demonstration is happening, Petra is talking to her generals and laying out the plan to invade the session because the Salem Accord. Her version of the plan involves minimizing casualties, and she's trying to explain this, but creepy Jarrett, or the fuck his name is, he's there and he interrupts her to give his orders, which are to capture the witches, detain all the session witches, because we need to bring them in for questioning, aka concentration camps are happening. Because this is patriotic witch genocide. So, like, get them all. And while he, like, keeps going on and on with his, like, bigot orders, Petra sneaks behind him and far speeches the general, so, like, all they can hear is her, but he has no idea, so he's droning on. And she's basically like, listen, your actual orders are to contain the situation. Because, like, she needs to buy time because they have a big master plan with Wade and all that stuff, and she's like, contain the stuff, prevent all the bloodshed, witch, civilian, everybody. And if you find the bellwether unit, bring them back to me alive. Those are your orders. That's it. And it cuts back when she gets out of the far speech when Garrett is done talking. And we're not done. Then he says, okay, also a special civilian force is coming with you. So that army is definitely coming with them. And they're going to take the lead on this. So that can't be great.
No, not at all. By the way, I call him Colonel Jackass.
Yeah.
Because that's just his official name to me.
It is law.
My notes for this entire episode have just a lot of cursing in them, so I actually wrote, Petra Farr speaks to the generals telling them to disregard the civilian bullshit. Like,
basically.
Basically, yeah. All
Basically.
right. So, back to the session. We're at a gas station, and a sheriff's deputy pulls up while Edwin's getting gas. And he looks pretty suspicious because we'll find out in a second why, but he starts speaking Cherokee right away. But Edwin only knows one word in Cherokee, so that doesn't work out. And that makes the deputy even more suspicious because Edwin's driving a council car. And so I guess he thinks that Edwin stole it. Whatever. Edwin says that Thelma Bearkiller took pity on him and gave him a job as her driver, which, why would you use that cover story? I don't know, because then he's like, where is she? Where is she going? What's going on? Like, anyway, Scylla comes out of the store part of the gas station and sees all this going on. And then the deputy asks where Thelma's going, but Edwin responds that it's council business and, like, he can't tell him. So the deputy says a lot of strange folk are roaming around the session, but before he can even finish his thoughts, Scylla comes up and pushes him, telling him basically to say that to Edwin, have a nice day, you're good to go. And then Edwin gets pissed because anyone could have seen her do that. Finally, someone's calling Scylla out on doing obvious, not good spy work.
She didn't have parents to yell at her, so she finally has one. But yeah, he's like the first person.
He is.
He is.
That was when I was live tweeting. I was over the moon, and I tweeted, finally, somebody called Scylla out on her obvious BS. Like, girl, come on. But Edwin gets pissed because anyone could have seen her, and Scylla's kind of taken aback by this, and is like, I saw a problem and I solved it, which is literally should be Scylla's tagline of her character. I saw a problem and I solved it.
Without thinking through the consequences.
Yes.
That's the asterisk or whatever, because yeah, she does do that, but never thinks through the consequences of what she just did.
I said in parentheses, that's like her motto, and sometimes she's too obvious. But he says there are people out there waiting for an excuse to stone a witch, and you can't be so reckless. Thank you, Edwin. Thank you.
Seriously.
And she's like, why are you so mad? And he says, because you're all I have left. I'll just be crying now. Hrothgar in this entire episode, why don't you just make me cry in every scene you're in, basically?
He's trying.
He is. So that stops Scylla cold, and she comforts him by taking his hand and says, you've got me. You've always, but you've got Raylla too. She's like, she's not dead, Edwin. We're gonna get her back. But he says he just wants to hear her voice. And Scylla says, I think I can make that happen, but we gotta find something on the way. And I'm like, automatically in my head, I'm like, well, Scylla's gonna find some roadkill.
Yep, dead animals. Gotta go find that boiled frog.
Oh God, listen to the frog. So we switch back over to these ladies approaching the Craven house, and that damn Ford Focus is out front with the boys, just surveilling things. Like, why are they outside? Why are they outside the Craven house? Is it just like
they're trying to find Tally? Because
yeah, like, can you guys not just fucking? I don't know. Whatever. So
there's no consequences. It's like, yeah, normally police wouldn't sit in your driveway, but like they are the police. Like they are the law. Like the Tally Craven, or Momma Craven has no power here, so they can be this brazen and disgusting. Like,
yep,
it sucks. This is just fascism. This is what it is.
This is America, as Scylla said.
It's bad. It's bad.
So the book club girls approach the Craven house, and they stop to offer brownies to the surveillance assholes. One of them, who is like a super chipper young lad, takes one of the brownies and enjoys it immensely, and the Giga Nazi is just like, I don't know how you can eat something made by one of them.
It's easy. You just eat it. It's a fucking brownie, dude.
Like, what do you think? They put, like, witch virus in there or something? You're gonna
Witch
turn into a witch?
herpes?
Witch police? Witch
Right.
herpes?
Witch police.
Witch herpes. Anyway, that's it.
I don't know. It's disgusting. All right, so then we shoot on over to a scene that made me laugh out loud the first time I saw it. We're in the Necro lab / Isadora's office where Isadora is having a candlelit dinner with Penelope and her phonograph is playing.
Cute! It was so cute! And the way she talks about the curry!
So Isadora is setting the mood, and then, yeah, she talks about how she made the curry, and she's like, oh, I have a heavy hand with spices. Ma'am, not only do you know how to cook, but you use spices. Perfect woman. Also, may we say, I have to comment on what Isadora was doing off screen. So off screen, not only was she making this curry, she was off at the salon getting like a 1950s beehive done to her hair. So we got the new Isadora hairdo for the season. Enjoy. She got all dolled up. Love it. Good night for her. And during this dinner, she's essentially praising Penelope for all her good progress. And like during the scene, like Penelope is being very, very calm. The music is playing on this phonograph, so I wonder if like that helps keep her calm. Like the music is what coaxed Penelope out of the witch plague. So I wonder if like the music speaks to her humanity or something and tethers her. And like also Isadora is like still talking in her like puppy dog voice where she's like, good job, Penelope. Like setting a calming atmosphere for her, and it keeps Penelope like calm and present. So that really is highlighted in this scene. And it's going really well until Abigail ruins it by barging into the lab and is like, we need your help because Alder's here and dying. And so Isadora's like, Alder, what the fuck? And like runs to Alder. And poor Penelope gets traumatized all over again because there in the doorway is the person that killed her. So Penelope, all her calm is gone. The candle, she sends it to like splatters it and like screams, "You've tried to kill me! What the fuck, bitch?" And then she tries to lunge at Abigail's throat like she did to Isadora, but Isadora stops her before that can go any far. And I want to note that Abigail, for all her boasting about being the best soldier ever, like doesn't even move. Like no flinching, nothing. When Penelope lunges for her, she does nothing defensive. Like she just stands there. Like, what? I don't get it. Wouldn't the great Abigail Bellwether like reflexively put her hands up? Like, where's your combat training?
Apparently she didn't get enough of it.
Apparently not. But blame City Drop, I guess. And so it cuts to commercial. So off screen, they manage to wrangle Penelope. And when we cut back, she's in her little fishbowl room. She's got her gloves on, knees to her chin, and she's like rocking back and forth. Like she's traumatized by what just happened. And Abigail has zero empathy for any of this. And it's just like, oh, Penelope's like, great. Can we use her to clear my name with the government? It's like, girl, like this girl, you're looking in the room of this girl who looks beyond traumatized. And all you can think about is yourself. That's who Abigail is this season, I guess. And it shows up in more than one scene. It's really annoying. And Isadora seconds agrees with me, and she's like, you need to calm down. Like, she's obviously not okay, and like she's not entirely human yet. Like, I'm still working with her. This is like a slow progress kind of thing, or that's what we were just celebrating and you just ruined it. And Abigail and Adil both ask, like, well, how is this even possible? We watched her die, and Isadora says, apparently death isn't what it used to be. I'm not really sure what that means. Do you have any thoughts about that? Curious line.
Either she's making sort of a funny comment about how people keep dying and coming back, aka Raylla, aka Alder's back, aka, Penelope, or she's just has some kind of thing that she knows from bringing Penelope back that hasn't come to light yet. I don't know. But I want to put my money on her just being like, well, everybody's coming back to life, apparently, so.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it has something to do with the mycelium. I mean, she monitors that thing like crazy. And so I wonder with like the fungicide thing happening and like what's going on with Alder, what's going on with Raylla, the Penelope stuff, if like laws of nature are being altered kind of right now. Because in mythology stuff, whenever you get to like the end of a civilization in like whatever myth it is, there's always like basically all like the laws of nature come to a head kind of thing, and then like have this big battle, and then it kind of chills for a minute, and then there's a new era after that. So I wonder if this is like kind of one of those signs that like, oh, this cycle of whatever time or whatever is coming to an end, and there's going to be like a new beginning at some point. And I wonder if that's what she's talking about. Like, I guess the old laws don't apply anymore. Things are changing is kind of what she's saying. And so because of that, all these witches, maybe they get murdered in this session thing. Maybe like they don't really die or something. I don't know. It seems kind of like a foreshadowing or a hint of like what's to come kind of line from her.
Sounds like Elliot.
Yeah, exactly. Because like of all the people, she's the one monitoring the death stuff. So I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. But anyway, so after Abigail's being annoying, like Isadora's like whatever, and she goes over to Alder, and they have this really cute reunion. And then Alder starts like dying some more, and so they're like, "Fuck, we need to get to the mycelium," and they like rush off screen to go there.
Yeah, like I get we had to take care of the Penelope situation, and Abigail had to have her moment of, but is it going to clear my name? At the same time, I'm like, hey guys, Alder's over here like keeling over. Can we not take? She needs to go to the mycelium. That's why we're here, Abigail. Can we not like?
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you said that, because this whole scene, like, Adil is struggling to hold Alder, who's literally dying in his arms, and like they're having this calm conversation of watching Penelope, and it's like, can somebody take her? Show Adil where the mycelium is. Like, you don't need to go with her.
Use your words, Adil. Just tell Abigail you need, like, hey, Abigail.
Oh, but Adil can't do that. He's a doormat this season, so. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, he can be like, point me to the room, because like yeah, I don't understand why they ignored Alder. But it's so fun. It's comical to go watch it, because she's like barely hanging on while they're just chit-chatting.
I know. Lynn's probably back there like, God damn, guys. How long do I have to act like this?
Don't drop me, Tony.
Don't drop me, Tony.
And he did it. He did a good job.
Good job, Tony. But now Adil just should have said, hey, guys.
Adil, find your voice, Adil.
Yeah, take Alder's advice.
You could do more than just talk about babies. Ugh. I believe in you.
I'm just for babies in general, not Adil's babies. I don't.
Yeah, no, we don't need that.
General thing. All right. So the only scene in this episode that like made me in any way, shape, or form kind of happy for a second was this one where Scylla calls Raylla using the animal carcass. So they're at Quinn's.
There it is. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. My dog was slipping.
They're at Quinn's finally, and I don't know how. Like, is Quinn rich?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so Edwin's like, oh, it's that's why I put it there. In the other scene, where Edwin and Scylla are having their cute talk. Edwin says he was giving directions to Quinn's new place. So she just bought this place. This is new within the month where we had the time jump. So off screen, Quinn was like flipping houses or something. So she had to leave the fugitives to go buy a creepy mansion. That's what she was doing.
So off screen,
like what?
Here's what was Quinn doing off screen? She was doing an episode of House Hunters.
Literally, she was like, this van is great, but I gotta go, I need more space, and goes and buys this she buys a mansion? Like, what?
It's a really nice house.
It's a nice house. How much does the army pay? What the fuck?
I think she's been doing stuff on the side, making money, a little hustle.
Well, she definitely has. Our first intro to Quinn was her taking on blindness for money. So she's been, her side hustle is healing people for money. So she must have been busy in that month getting a mortgage and shit. Like, what the fuck? I thought that was funny. Like, so Quinn was missing because she was buying this new house and I guess like setting it up.
I guess.
For reasons.
I guess. Caitlin pointed out something in the chat that Telly has some great. You're right. I'm wrong. There are other things that made me happy in this episode. However, the happiest I get is when Raylla and Scylla are communicating. So there you have it.
It's true.
All right. So in the mycelium version of Raylla's bedroom, there's a wild-looking death cap just sprouting out the window. It has these really gauzy petals, and they start Twitter-pating with the sound of Scylla calling Raylla's name. And then Raylla wakes up from her mommy dearest sleep. Because I feel like this is literally mommy dearest, where Willow's been like giving her the mycelium drugs and making her sleep this whole time. And so she's like, Scylla, is that really you? And then she's like breaking down a little when Scylla says that she loves her. She's like, it's me, I love you. And then like a tear comes out of Raylla's eyeball. And she responds with, I love you so much, which kills me. And then Scylla explains that it's hard to keep this connection open, but someone has to talk to her. And then Raylla hears her dad. And that's it. Like, she literally breaks with all the getting to hear her dad. And so he asks if she's somewhere safe. And she says, I think so. I'm like, yes, and I mean, you're safe, but the mommy dearest vibes are really killing me. If people don't know what that is, look it up. Joan Crawford. There you go. Anyway, no one knows who Joan Crawford is, do they? Whatever.
Go learn. Google's free.
Google is free.
Caitlin, Google now.
No wire hangers.
Caitlin! You're a bad example.
I'm old. That's the
Googling, guys. It's fine.
So, this really sweet conversation with Edwin and Raylla breaks my heart, especially when Raylla says, I want to come home. I was like, ow, my little heart, my cold, dark heart woke up for a second and I don't like it. And then Willa comes in and yells, leave her, she's safe with us. I'm like, that's the creepiest thing ever.
I mean, this whole thing is creepy.
Mm-hmm. And then she does some work to get rid of Scylla's death cap. And then back at Quinn's, the death cap disappears from the dead animal. And Scylla looks shooketh. Like, she looks like Willa actually, like, the work got to her or something. I don't know. Like, either that or she's freaking out because they would have heard Willa's voice. Or both.
Maybe both. Yeah.
So, Quinn makes Scylla stand up and then asks if that's who she thinks it was, while Edwin's like, whose voice was that? Like, Edwin! Okay, it was very faint from the mycelium, whatever.
Leave him alone.
So Scylla nods to Quinn, and Edwin doesn't see it because he's still staring at the dead animal, hoping Raylla's voice will come out of it.
Aww.
And he wants to know how they can talk to Ray again. And Scylla says it's not Raylla they need to talk to. And then Quinn just looks a little like stunned by the whole "it was Willa" revelation. And just put a pin in that because we're going to come back to it.
Of course we are. So, I do have a couple things to add about this scene. Mostly it's that, okay, so Scylla has escalated the witch texting to witch calling in the mycelium.
Mm-hmm.
So, girl, you need to patent this stuff because you'd be so rich in this world. But you gotta love that. She's like, okay, the texting isn't working. Let me just literally voice call you with the mycelium. So that's impressive. So
Okay, Alexander Graham Ramshorn.
yeah, so this is Big Witch Energy Ramshorn showing off her casually inventing magic yet again. And she's like, oh yeah, we can hear Raylla. Like, good job, Scylla, inventing more magic. So that was pretty cool. Because I don't think Edwin would have been as excited about witch texting. So I think that was really great.
No.
Because that was really reassuring to him. Who he barely understood what was going on, but he's like, whatever, I heard her voice, it doesn't matter. And yeah, he for me is like one of the MVPs this whole episode. But
absolutely.
I'm mad about the way they did all this stuff with you, Edwin, but I'm glad you get to talk to your daughter. All right.
Yep.
So back at Fort Salem, Alder finally makes it to the mycelium. But she's 3 hours later, and she's well enough to stand somehow on her own. Sure. So, okay, but like, let's talk about the mycelium. So the mycelium we're looking at. So the first shot is like my Alder in front of the mycelium. And mycelium wall is very like blue and pink. And so we've talked about this before. Like the colors of the mycelium keep evolving. They like started out as this like fainty yellow, whitish kind of color. And then later on in season 2, when Raylla kind of bonds with it, it gets kind of blue and pinkish. And now it's very blue and very pink. So the colors of the mycelium keep changing. And so we talked about what those colors could possibly mean. I'm sorry I touched your paw. I'm sorry. What those colors could possibly mean for the mycelium in like a color theory kind of sense. So I think like blue maybe here is like, it means like trusting, calming, because like a lot of this season is so far the dialogue, at least from Alder, some from Willa later. Anyone who's come into contact with this mycelium, I'm curious to see what Raylla's take is. But a lot of people involved with the mycelium are very much like trust the mother, trust the mother, trust the mother. So I think that's what the blue is trying to signify here because it's predominantly blue. But then there's a lot of pink, and pink can mean like love, and so I think it's like mother's love is kind of what's going on here. So anyway, there's that. And then Alder, for some reason, this time when the mycelium's draining her, or her life is fading, her clothing changed entirely. And now she's wearing this like yellow pioneer dress, maybe. I couldn't get a great look at what the outfit is, but it looked yellow.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what that really means, because like we've been talking about yellow in the sense of like that's Raylla's color. It's been associated with like the healing, the chosen one stuff. So it was like Alder the new she the new Raylla because Raylla's in Fungatory. I'm not really sure where this came from, but maybe. I'm not sure. Regardless, Alder's there and she's like, the mother. Well, it's time to go. Thanks, guys. And Isadora's like, wait, no, can you take me with you? And this was the cutest scene for me because
it was like, so cute.
Holy fuck, this is the most sincere request ever. She's like, please take me with you. Because, of course, Isadora, who loves the mycelium, wants to go in the mycelium. And Alder just, like, is like, it's okay, Isadora, your time will come later. And, like, literally crushes her poor heart, like, right then and there. And she has this look on her face, Isadora, after the hurt is gone, of, like, annoyance. Because she's like, what the fuck, like, Khalid's in there. What do you mean you can't take me? There's no room for me? So, Isadora's gonna be jealous about this. Because, yeah, it's fucked up. Other people are in the mycelium. Why can't she go? She's the greatest admirer of the mother. Whatever. Poor Isadora. And basically Alder's like, listen guys, we'll meet again. I'll do what I can for Raylla and Khalida. And then she dissolves into fungal hyphae and joins the mycelial network. And that's it.
Yeah, poor Isadora. I felt bad for her this entire scene.
I know. She was so like wide-eyed, hopeful. Like, can I come too? Elder's like, no. No.
She really is like, no.
No. Like, your time will totes come, Isadora.
This
No.
episode is the episode of people not being allowed to go into the mycelium.
Yeah, what the hell? There's definitely room in that bitch. And they're like, no. No. No
Like,
more witches.
I'm gonna rant about this later, but this is the first instance of why not?
First off, trade out the shepherd. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't even know why he's there. Like, just take him out for a hot second and let Isadora look around. Justice for Isadora.
Isadora should be able to go into the damn mycelium by herself. Not
I know.
Like that's just, it should be her privilege.
It should be.
She's the necro queen.
She's the queen of fixing all the problems. Like, let her see the mycelium. She's earned it.
Yeah. She's Jeezy crazy. Come on, lesbian Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Well, she doesn't want to be there.
No, she doesn't. Like, train Raylla for...
Exactly, yeah. Here. Do you want to go? I don't get you. Okay. Anyway, my dog is antsy.
Dogs be dogs, man. They want to know where other mama is.
She's falling off my lap, but like,
it's a large dog on your lap. It just looks funny because it's cut off and all you can see is the curly fluff.
I know. It's a 40-pound golden doodle and it doesn't want to leave. So it is what it is. I'm sorry. She's gonna be bad if I let her go.
Anyway. So I guess we can go to book club.
Yeah, let's go. What are we
Tally
reading?
rushes into the living room where the discussion during book club is going on, but all she finds are two women who are knitting and an open Tupperware, which is the source of the book club discussion of this like super erotical romance thing that they've been reading, I guess, or they've been not reading.
Yeah.
Somebody had to read it.
Someone's reading it, yeah. I was like, who had to do the book report for book club?
Yeah, because I don't want to be that person. No. It's all straight shit, and I'm not here for that.
No.
It should have been some damn lesbian erotica.
Big Swiss. Yep.
So, one of the women who are knitting points in the direction of the dining room, and Tally's like, okay, and then goes off to find the real book club, including her mom, who are making plans to infiltrate a government building, turns out. Momma Craven reintroduces Tally to all of her friends in the book club and says maybe she'll be useful because she's trained as a soldier. You know, like, remember my stubborn daughter who wanted to go into the army, blah, 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 and save the world? Well, here she is. Maybe she'll be useful. And Tally's like, useful for what? Because she's Tally.
Book club.
And how do you feel about raiding a government building?
Pretty good,
Tally laughs, but then realizes that her mother is serious because she looks at the table and there are blueprints, pictures of the building, just general information on how they can get in and where the security systems are, etc., etc. So it goes to a commercial because homophobia. Yep. And when we come back, the other ladies in book club are getting ready to leave, and Tally's trying to convince her mom not to do this mission, saying that she's not trained for this and it's too dangerous. I just want to point out here that if we're paralleling Nazi Germany, this is the resistance. These are the resistance fighters.
Yep.
Just saying. Here we are. So, Mama thinks that this is a deja vu Freaky Friday moment where they've traded places and are now Tally's arguing that you shouldn't do this because it's not safe and you're going to get killed. So, Tally tries to convince her by saying that she knows better as a soldier. Tally, you had Like, basic training and
Not
city
even.
drop. Like,
Yeah, like,
you barely.
I know.
Yes, you've seen some shit, Tally, but like, come on.
Yeah, like they get to a scene later where like Quinn's talking about far speech and she's like, "Did you guys get that far in training?" And like the unit didn't learn a goddamn thing when they were getting
No.
trained because they never had this lesson either. Like there's so many things they didn't learn. So like, are they soldiers really?
Yeah, they learned how to wind strike and wind shear, and that's all, and use
Right.
their swords.
And we did the dollhouse. And that was it. Like we jumped out of a helicopter and
hand-to-hand
saw
combat.
kind of. Apparently Abigail forgot about it. But like, yeah, for all the stuff, all the boasting they do about we're soldiers, and it's like, are you guys are barely trained? You barely qualify as soldiers. Stop it.
Like the people with the actual experience that we saw in like the whole Scylla.
Yeah. 100%. And a lot of it's street smarts with her too.
Yeah, it's not even army shit. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I really don't think we know that the death cap didn't come from the army.
Absolutely not.
And that's what she's been using to keep, like, all the magic she's been using this season besides Wind Strike was all off cannon.
It's dirty spree work, lots of it.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, Tally's gonna lose this argument, obviously, because they're the same. They're very similar people, and she's just Momma Craven is just as stubborn as Tally is. And so Momma Craven says, "Well, I'm gonna fight, so deal with it." Tally says, "Well, you're not doing it alone." And then Momma Craven looks kind of proud as Tally leaves the room to join the other book club members. And it's super cute. I love the scene. The scenes with Tally and Momma Craven were all really good.
Yes.
They were like a really nice respite from everything else.
Yeah,
except for the emotional shit is what I'm saying. Like, we needed this.
I mean, I also liked it because Tally's plot line is about Tally.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually like Tally learning and growing. It's like a Tally arc episode, whereas like everybody else's storyline is plot. Basically. I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was great. I like all the scenes of Momma Craven are really, really great. And like you said, there's parallels here with like the resistance movements that crop up during fascism. So I love that and everything that they're doing. So, all right. So back to the drama and Quinn's new mansion, because apparently Quinn comes from old money or something. Who knows? Oh, Quinn. Anyway, so I think this scene is fucked up, personally, and I will try to keep my personal opinions out of it as much as I can. But anyway, what happens here is that telling Edwin the truth about Willa falls on Scylla. I get why we're here now, but like, this is fucked up and shouldn't be Scylla's place to do this. So, all of this scene, EP Caitlin, insert like circus music, funeral music, whatever you want, because I was so incorrect about Edwin and what he knew about Willa, and like, RIP my muse, I prefer you personally, and I love you. But anyway, so I was straight up wrong because I'm a clown. What are you gonna do?
Caitlin, she had a theory back in the day that Edwin knew something about Willa being alive and faking her death.
No, that's not the issue. That's not the issue. It's the issue of the music that you want me to play.
Yeah, circus music or funeral music, whatever you want.
Those are two very different things.
I'm aware. You go with the circus music, it's fine. I'm a clown, I'll admit it. I don't care. No shame.
I personally like the funeral music, but...
I'll layer it and talk about it.
Poor Theora.
Please layer them. Kenji. Kinja's also mad about my views. Come here, honey. Keep rewarding you for being terrible. Alright, so yeah, RIP my views. I still don't understand how Edwin reacts in this scene, but we'll get there. Anyway, so basically Scylla tells him everything, like the truth about Willa and the truth about herself with the spray and how she knew Willa. And Quinn is also surprised by this. So Quinn had no idea Willa was in the spree, so there's that. And Edwin just like accepts all of it. It's really weird. He's just like, okay, but Raylla's safe, which I don't get. So anyway, Edwin's super, super weirdly calm about this. And he's like, cool. Okay, so how do I get my daughter from my dead wife? Like, what do we do? She's being held hostage. Scylla and Quinn, by extension, then are both try to explain what the mycelium is, basically, to Edwin. And he's like, cool, whatever. So can we talk to Raylla? Like, how do we do this? Stop telling me about witch things. And Quinn's like, well, how about far speech? Because apparently, if you teach witches to do this, which apparently necros don't do, but like apparently everybody else in the army eventually learns if you're there enough, so the unit doesn't know it, of course. But apparently, like, if you far speech enough with the same person, you imprint, and so it's easier to like communicate with them, basically. So Quinn and Willa used to get stationed together a lot, and so they are imprinted. So Quinn's like, I can easily communicate to Willa. So if mycelium Willa still has a piece of regular Willa in there, I can reach her. Like, that's why I'm here. So Quinn is now going to OG witch call Willa with some far speech, and that's where we're at now.
Yes, I remember in talking about things that would happen in season 3, we talked about how, well, they'll have far speech, that they can communicate with far speech, right? No, they didn't use that at all this season, and I'm like, oh, I guess we finally found out why, because they're not teaching people, they're only teaching certain units far speech now. Like, why? It's such a useful tool. Why would you do that?
I don't know, Anacostia knew it, so it was like, how recent was this? And like, why not teach the necros this? Like, what's the advantage there?
There is none. The only thing I can imagine is that you would think that if they were going to teach people far speech, they would do it early on, like start them on it early on, so that they could get used. Whatever. I don't know. It's not going to make sense. We won't make it make sense. It is what it is. Also, I am a little. I really. I get that Edwin's like all, I don't freaking care about all the lies and shit or whatever right now. I just want to make sure that my daughter's safe, but it still doesn't feel right.
Nope. Again, they're making everyone's plot about Raylla and not about themselves as characters, and that's what really bothers me. Because, like, again, Scylla's all just like Raylla. Then Edwin's in the situation where his world gets turned upside down. He's like, well, Raylla. And it's like, let these people have their own, like, feelings about other stuff. Like, are you kidding me? He's gonna hear this thing about Willa for the first time, allegedly. I'm still holding on to my dead muse. And he's just like, yeah, whatever. Really? He's like Raylla said in season 1 or season 2 or whatever, that devastated my dad and like destroyed him. And he hears that it was all bullshit and it's just like, well, she did it for Raylla. Like, what? Like, are you serious? His reaction makes no sense. And this guy's a good actor. I don't get this at all. Like, this is so weird. It's weird. It's very sterile and I don't get it. They're like, we don't have time for you to cry right now. Cry later. I guess. I hate it. This scene is fucked up to me. I get the point of it. There's some cute stuff in here. We learned some things, but I think it's fucked up. It shouldn't be Scylla telling Edwin this, and Edwin's reaction is weird.
The only thing I really liked about... The only thing that I found authentic to Edwin about this scene is that I really, or like pretty much his reactions to a lot of things in this episode was him accepting Scylla and not caring about her past. I totally, like, that was cool. Like, I get that.
That makes sense. That makes sense. This reaction doesn't make sense for Edwin.
So
Edwin, I wear my heart on my sleeve collar. Like, are you serious? He's just gonna clam up and like soldier on? That doesn't make any fucking sense. He was like the emotional one in the relationship. Like, what?
I don't know. Whatever.
I don't get it.
It's
Did we forget our characters? Yeah. This is everybody's plot except Tally this episode.
It's in service to the plot. That's what this is. They
Yep.
needed to get to a certain place.
Yeah. Makes me mad.
If that's what it feels like anyway. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Blah.
Yep.
But at least Scylla got to drop her bomb, like, about her being in the spree.
I guess.
She's been worried about that since last season. She's been worried about Edwin accepting her when he knows. But, yeah, so we're gonna go over to Isadora and some Petra with some Anacostia and a little bit of Abigail and Adil.
I guess.
What a salad this is. I'm sure there'll be an edit of them all as a salad now.
I hope so.
Me too, because it'll make
guys.
Exactly.
Give us some joy.
So Petra comes in to the necro lab and wants to know, like, what couldn't wait until morning. Like, come on, Isadora. And then she sees Anacostia and she's like, oh, okay. And like she gets on to her about she told her to go rest up in the infirmary, but Anacostia, like Theora said, is an adult and can multitask and is seeing the bigger picture here.
Yeah, and she's like in uniform and everything, like hair done. She's like, I am ready to go. Like, good on you, Anacostia.
But it seems like nobody's following orders. No. Because Anacostia steps aside, and then from behind a pillar, I don't know why she felt like she... Is this like some kind of...
I don't...
Was she gonna jump out of a cake? I don't know. Like, I don't understand why she's hiding.
This was dramatic for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is like Nicta level dramatic.
Or maybe did she have... I don't know. Did she have to like hide herself in case one of the angry white citizens came in? Maybe,
was behind her. Colonel Angry White Asshole was behind her. Right. That's what we'll go with.
Yeah, maybe. But I like your cake idea, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just see her popping out of a cake. Anyway, so Abigail and Adil emerge from behind a pillar, and Abigail immediately goes into army mode and stands at Eddie's. And then says, I'm sorry, ma'am, I know your orders were to stay in the session, but Alder needed the mycelium, but Petra is not even listening to her. She's just running towards her daughter and hugs her and then pulls Adil in as well, because that's her son-in-law now.
Yeah, that was cute.
Son and doormat, sorry.
Yeah, so Petra, like, embracing Adil was cute. And
indeed.
Petra getting to just, like... not have the weight of everything on her for like 3 seconds must have been great. Because like she's in like the worst position ever.
Surely is.
Like poor Petra. She inherited an army that was a hot mess. The like government is falling apart. Like their ancient enemy is back and invading the army for once. She's getting sent to the session for this bullshit. And so like finally like she just gets like a moment of peace to be like, oh my god, my daughter's alive in here. Thank God. It's like one less thing to worry about. And like you know that Petra, under any other circumstance, would be like, make my daughter the priority, like if she could. Because Petra, season 1 Petra, season 2 Petra was doing that, but she hasn't been doing that. Honestly, she's been putting the army first and everything else. And so, good for Petra. It's a win for her. Maybe this hug is how Abigail gets her brain cell back.
Maybe it is.
Yeah, maybe your mom had it the whole fucking time.
Yeah, her mom was like, right? Okay, osmosis is brain cell on over. Red Rover, this brain cell goes over.
Can you give Adil a voice too while you're here?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
God, they need to go on like a Wizard of Oz type
oh my
journey.
God. Well, like, okay, Abigail needs a brain and a heart, so like, she needs multiple organs.
She is extra. That's
because like honestly,
taking up 2 slots there.
Well, let's talk about all the characters because like Tally has everything.
Yeah,
well, Tally needs courage. That's what Tally needs. She gets it by the end of the episode. Tally needs courage to like be herself and stop listening to Abigail. Abigail needs a brain and a heart. We've talked about that. Adil's like Ariel from Little Mermaid, he needs a voice. What does Scylla need? A hug?
Raylla, apparently.
Does she need anything? Scylla needs Raylla so she can finally do stuff for Scylla and have a life. Everyone else is good.
Emotional support. That's right, Caitlin. Scylla needs emotional support and for Abigail to stop yelling about her dirty spree work.
Yeah. She needs a hug from Nicta and her dirty spree work to be like, you're fine, baby spree. Don't listen to them. Also, I poisoned Abigail's milk. Anyway.
Aim is to guess the 5 letters.
The fuck?
Oh, it's so random. I don't know what that is. I hope it stays in. It wasn't me.
It was me. It was my phone. Hey, but sometimes, for some reason, if I touch the surface of my phone, my Spotify starts playing.
Oh.
It does. I don't know why it happens, but it does.
Oh man, that must be so jarring when that happens because you're not expecting it.
Yeah, because I'm at work in the middle of an effing
a
surgery.
Quiet surgery, and it's like. That's
I hope you all enjoy Hoser.
All right, well we're setting the mood for the next scene, which is a lot. So I mean, okay, yeah, so you set the mood with music, and meanwhile in this scene, Scylla is setting the mood Nicta style by lighting a fuckload of candles for no reason.
What is it? Is it a spree thing?
She misses Nicta, and she's like, listen, all these candles are here, we can't let them go to waste, so she's just lighting them even though there's electricity, and Quinn's like, I don't need all that hoo-ha, darling, which is like, Quinn, great line. Because what are you doing? I think Scylla's nervous and just Nicta rubbed off on her. She's like, let me light a bunch of candles for some reason.
Well, I think it's a dramatic gay bi trait, honestly, because if you remember Lexa from The 100 and the candles, they were effing everywhere.
Her and Nicta would be great friends. But it's also being dramatic as a spree trait. That's part of the job interview. Are you dramatic? Mm-hmm. Are you sexy? Join the spree. Mm-hmm. That's basically it.
That's the entire recruiting.
That's the recruit. Have you seen the spree? There it is. So anyway, so this is all happening, and then Edwin's in the background this whole time looking so nervous. Like, I don't know. He's like, oh, I'm gonna see Willa. Like, excited nervous. Not like, that bitch just ruined my life. I don't get this. But sure, Edwin's being cute and nervous. And so Quinn's like, cool, let's do this. And then she OG witch calls Willa. And they make some small talk via far speech while Willa's in the fungatory keeping Raylla hostage. And Willa initially is like, listen, this isn't a good time. Can I call you back? And Quinn's like, no, girl, it's urgent. It's about your daughter. There's people here that need to talk to her. And I guess Raylla's the trigger word because the mycelium's like, oh, fuck. That's our chosen one. I need to stop whatever this is. And so Scylla notices in the giant mansion, there's fungus creeping, purpley fungus creeping along the ceiling. So it's the mycelium being like, fuck, I gotta manifest. And ploop, it manifests Willa in human form, kind of. And she stands there in front of them. And Scylla immediately jumps into where's Raylla? Raylla, because that's her plot line. And Willa explains, listen, girl, slowly roll. She's safe. The mother's keeping her safe because there are people out there who fucking hate her, want to harm her, know she exists. And she needs to stay there away from the Camarilla until she's safe because she's part of the change that was foretold long ago. Because her name literally means the chosen one, guys. We've said this a million times, literally. So the mycelium's like, she's the chosen one. We have to keep her safe until it's time for her to do what she's supposed to do in the prophecy. Boom. There it is. So there's a prophecy. We were right. Anyway, so Scylla, I guess we got one muse right today. That's good. Anyway, Scylla's immediately protesting this. No, she can't stay there. We need her. I love her. And Willa doubles down no, mother knows best. But then Edwin steps in and stops all of this. And he holds Willa's hand because he's in cell shock that Willa's here and is just my love, and grabs her hand because the betrayal is fine, and grabs her hand and then convinces her that Raylla has people here outside the fungatory that will keep her safe. And Sir, those hovering tears, sir, good grief. Somebody please give this man an award for his hovering tears, because holy fuck. Like, if you weren't crying during the scene, are you even alive? Like, holy fuck.
Hrothgar's face and everything about Hrothgar in this scene murdered me multiple times. I was already dead, so that's quite a feat. Good job. You get the award for that.
Yeah, his acting was impeccable. The hovering tear, like, good lord, man. And the hovering tears work, and they totally get to Willa and pull Willa out of the fungal whatever. And she immediately starts apologizing for all the grieving and explains, again, echoing what Scylla said, I was doing it to protect Raylla, like, you get that. And he's like, yeah, because sure. And Scylla pulls an Isadora in this scene and is like, listen, if you won't give me Raylla, take me to the mycelium. Like, why is everybody trying to get the mycelium this episode? And Mother's like, no, the hotel's occupied. You can't come in. And so that's that.
Though? It would make so much more sense for Scylla to be there with Raylla.
For Scylla and for Raylla emotionally, but the mother has plans and Scylla has the brain cell and she needs to do things outside the fungus because she's the only one. She's the only one keeping the unit alive, and I think they need.
Right.
I think they really need Tally alive. Personally,
that's right. She's got to keep everybody alive. Why is this her responsibility for that? Why is it her responsibility to tell Edwin? Why does Scylla always get the responsibility?
Listen, all Willa had to say in this scene is like, listen, she's fine. We'll release her when the time is right. That's it. And then, okay,
yeah,
cool.
She's gotta be
that's it. That's all you had to say. And then Scylla would be like, cool. Because apparently that's what we do when we hear earth-shattering news. We're like, cool. All right. Whatever. So that's that. Willa gives her cryptic message. She's like, she'll be fine. You can't come see her right now. The hotel's booked. Willa and Edwin hug, which is cute. And then she dissolves as he's hugging her, which is heartbreaking. This poor man had a horrific emotional roller coaster in the past 10 minutes. Hugged his dead wife who just betrayed him. Anyway, he needs therapy. My dog needs a treat. Come here. And anyway, everyone cries, and then I have a question about this scene, though. And maybe the later scene, too, with Willa. If the mycelium is so... If it's dying so much that, like, Alder was collapsing, how the fuck did it have enough energy to, like, manifest Willa? Like, multiple times this episode. How? Plot. Yeah. Because, like, later, Willa comes back again, and so does all... It's like... Is the mycelium okay or isn't it? I'm confused.
The mycelium is giving Alder... Well, okay, so here's my theory. Alder's not really dead. She's just healing in the mycelium like Raylla is.
Okay.
So manifesting someone who's alive would be harder for the mycelium than manifesting Willa, who is actually dead. So she's not like real alive. Like she's not flesh and blood, so it doesn't have to like fucking astral project her ass anywhere.
All right, I can see that. That makes more sense from an energy perspective.
Oh, wait there.
Okay.
All right.
I accept that.
I want to point out Scylla's absolutely adorable puppy dog look when she sees the Willa mycelium mushrooms crawling across the ceiling. And she's literally, I paused on it and then took a screenshot, and it just she looked like the cutest confused puppy ever. I was like, I just want to pet your head.
It's weird. And she's like, mushrooms, good, bad?
Mushrooms, good, bad mushrooms? Mommy dearest mushrooms?
Oh dear. Yes.
But also, between Hrothgar and Amalia, this scene, why don't you, because let's not forget to mention Amalia's pleading for Raylla, as much as if you don't, like, go along with this being her, the acting was good.
Oh yeah, for sure. The acting was great in this whole scene.
I can't go on without her. And I'm like, you're trying to kill me too, and it's not cool. You just need tissues for this entire episode. So that's my comment. That's all.
Yeah, the acting was really great in this scene. They all did an awesome job.
Freaking
so thank you.
Goddamn Rothgar and those tears, his face. I can't.
Yeah, he wins, honestly.
He wins. Like, he killed it. So, first of all, thanks for...
Oh, my bad.
I love that. I love it. It's like my favorite that you put Edwin instead of my name.
Listen, I was very out of it when I did this episode.
I loved it. It was like the best. So, Book Club's going to infiltrate this government building. They enter and go straight to the records room where they start grabbing documents to take back with them. And one of them is like, should we copy these here? And she's like, let's not, because alarms and shit. So they're just going to burn them later. Momma Craven asks Tally if her new site will let her see if the guard is coming back. And Tally says that it will, and then she gets put on watch by head of the resistance, Momma Craven. Tally uses said site, and she spies some crates in the basement, and then tells the others to keep loading up all of these records, which we assume are the witch bloodline records.
Yeah.
And says that she and tells Momma C that there's something that she needs to see in the basement. So Momma Craven tells the others that they'll be waiting. They'll meet them at the van. They've got to go check out these whatever's Tally is seeing. That's pretty much the whole scene.
I love it. They're clearly not trained in espionage at all. These witches.
Not at all.
Like, should we stop? And they're like, no, bitch. Like, the guard's coming. Go be fast. So,
should we use the copy machine? I hope it's not the same copy machine from the distribution center.
It's not. This one hasn't been scarred for life. So, yeah. But it was just, I love it. They're doing their best, but it's obvious they're not, like, trained for this, but what fugitives or rebels are. So I love it. The realism is really great. I love it. Go Team Book Club. I'm Team Book Club.
I am Team Book Club too.
Team Book Club. Big Witch Energy Podcast is officially Team Book Club because who wouldn't be? All right, cool. So that's what's going on in NorCal. And then meanwhile at Fort Salem, we're back to Petra. Come here. I'm going to pick up this dog first because it's being really annoying. Sorry. You're terrible. Come here. Come here. You're being terrible. You have to come here. Come here. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Suki, you gotta move, dude. I might have to stand. This is hard. Can't you get off the chair, dude?
Maybe I won't cut this out.
Please cut this out. If you want to put it in the bloopers, you can. I hate you guys. All right, cool. So, back at Fort Salem, we cut back to where Petra, Isadora, and Adil are kind of like chatting. And I guess they're Adil and Abigail are catching Petra up on like what happened. And we cut in and Petra's like, so there were 12 Sarah Alders.
I love that. That was so funny.
I love that choice. And also I find it interesting that there were 12. That's a very interesting number. It's very powerful in like a mythology sense. Like, you know, there's 12 months in the year. There's 12 disciples, 12 days of Christmas, like the 12. Like it's a very powerful number. So it's very interesting. But gotta love Petra. She's like, what?
12 alders?
12.
Does one of them want my job back?
Yeah, and they have to keep reassuring her. They're like, no, she doesn't want your job. She's doing mushroom stuff. It's fine. And they get on the subject of like Wade and the marshal, and Abigail says she thinks the marshal knew something was up with the Great River Council, and so he like basically snatched Wade and is like, let's get out of here before shit hits the fan, because he has to protect his lady love, and like we get that. Respect you for that.
Yep.
Adil adds that like Thelma is also helping them. She's an ally, and she thinks that the traitor was somebody on the Great River Council. And so she's looking into that, basically, because, if that would be helpful for Petra to know, since they're also, like, politically influential in the session. And so how far does the Camarilla go in all governments is really the big question here. I think that Petra's learning the hard ways, that they're everywhere, because this is like a 200-year long game that they're playing. Then we get to the part of the episode where Abigail is suddenly in character and grabs her brain cell, and she starts asking tactical questions to Petra about, like, this whole silver situation. She's like, well, there's going to be the invasion, but, like, how can we turn this to our advantage? And she's, like, kind of, like, keeping her mom on her toes weirdly. And Petra's like, well, the plan is to get Wade back, the thing we were just talking about, and we're going to make her president, and this will all go away. Which I don't buy, but okay.
No.
Abigail's like, cool. So I'll go back to the session and go see Thelma, because she's hot. I mean, I need to help her, obviously, because of, like, America. And Anacastia's like, you obviously can't be unsupervised, because look at you. I'm going to go with you, and I'll personally bring Wade back here once we find her, because you're still a fugitive, Abigail. Petra's like, great. I will do my part by slowing down this invasion as best that I can. And then we get, like, a very cute mother-daughter bonding moment with Petra and Abigail again, which I'm glad. And Petra, like, admits that she's very proud of Abigail and says, carry on, soldier. But it's like, Petra, I wish you could have seen Abigail the rest of this season, because I don't think you'd be super proud of your daughter and all her fuckery. But I'm glad you got to see Abigail Bellwether be Abigail Bellwether in this scene, because, like, I missed Abigail Bellwether, who has her
Me
brain
too.
cell. Like,
this was my favorite scene with Abigail all season.
Yes, this was the most in-character moment she's had since season 3 started.
And it's sad that the scene, my favorite Abigail scene up to now, was the whole Theora, Scylla, Tally, and Raylla scene where she's like, bitch ate my tomato. So I haven't had anything until now.
Since
here we are.
The first episode in that one scene. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. So I don't get it, but I'm glad Petra got to see it, because she deserves it.
Yep. Agree.
Through hell. Yep.
So back at book club, Tally and Momma Craven are in the basement, and in those crates were non-removable collars that look like they're metal. So the next step in the fascist plan, and Tally says that they have to destroy them, but there's no way they can remove all the crates. So Mama C burns them with some work. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, whatever spell she did was super cool.
Was it not cool? Where she just she lights the match and then tells it the fire to burn all the crates. That was so cool.
Yes. Can we get more NorCal matrifocal magic? Because that was badass.
It was.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that moment.
Can we contribute that to the pile of non-canon? Because that's not canon work.
There's no way. I know. I was trying to think that through. Because, I mean, she didn't serve, but that doesn't mean she didn't learn it from an army witch. But it didn't sound like something an army witch would do.
It seemed totally off canon.
Correct. So I'm wondering, where that kind of came from, like, culturally with witches. You know? It was fascinating. Other question I have real quick about the collars. So these metal ones, it's not clear with the ones they're wearing now. Are they just identification collars, or are they actually silencing collars?
They do say earlier in the episode that the collars that are removable do keep them from doing work.
Okay, I wasn't sure. So I was like, these are permanently, the new ones basically permanently neuter them from a magic perspective.
Yes. So the guy that was driving the truck that had Tally in it said that it silences, or it prevents them from doing work and identifies them.
Gotcha. I missed that. Thank you.
Indeed. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. So they burn the collars and they go out to the van where the book club is loading up. But then Momma Craven has a bit of a sad moment because she realizes that they're just going to send more callers and more men, and it's just going to go all over again. They're just slowing things down. They're not doing anything big here. But Tally tries to comfort her by saying, like, you win a war one battle at a time, and tonight they won their battle, so, celebrate that. So Momma Craven is like, okay, you're right. And then they see the guard in the distance and scurry into the van and speed away before the building explodes in flames, which was cool. Like,
yes, cool shot. And
yes,
it's a cool shot too, because you still see him there and you see him scurry away. Super cool.
Exactly. It was a really good shot. So back at the house, the Craven house, the surveillance bros barge into the living room and find the book club in full session, discussing the book that nobody read except for the two ladies who were knitting.
Yep. They did the book report, yeah.
They did it,
It was them.
Momma Craven asks what's going on, and the Boy Scout, which is what I'm calling the dude that actually ate the brownie, tells them that there was trouble at a building in town, but Giga Nazi gives him this harsh ass look and is like, why are you telling them information? Like, stop. First you're eating their brownies and now you're giving them information. And so he tells them to wrap up their gathering because it's close to curfew, because they can't get them on anything. They're all there, just doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so the ladies just are like, okay, cool. And they all kind of traipse out, start to leave. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, because that's his only power move. If I can get you for breaking curfew, then I can arrest you.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go back to right before the explosion where Tally and Momma Craven are talking, and she essentially expresses her feeling of hopelessness that we're slowing them down kind of thing. And I love the way they wrote this and the way it was acted, because it really captured that feeling of just hopelessness when you're fighting this uphill battle against this insurmountable force. And it feels like the small steps aren't really enough. It feels like the small steps aren't enough because, the odds are so stacked against you, and it really is a matter of life and death for them. So I love that about Momma Craven, but it's very true. Like, when you're fighting fascism, the little things do help, but sometimes it feels like the little wins aren't enough. And so I love that conversation between the two of them. It's very realistic, and it was handled really nicely.
Agree. Big yay on that one.
Yeah. The scenes between them are really phenomenal.
They really are. It's like I know I like that we get to see Hrothgar acting because he's a badass, but these scenes were the best part of the episode to me.
Yeah, no, me too. They were because it's plot, and it's also the emotion and character development. It's everything.
It felt like the old Motherland.
Yes. Tally's plotline. I feel like Tally's plotline was going to be Tally's plotline no matter what.
Yeah.
Personally. I'm not sure what the fuck happened with Abigail, to be quite honest with you. But but sure, somehow that got derailed. Scylla's makes sense because Scylla's was always going to be tied to Rael's plotline. So while I find it frustrating, it makes sense why it got derailed and why it is the way that it is. But I don't get Abigail's, and Tally's feels like hers was just going to be this way no matter what, because all her stuff is very fleshed out, especially in this episode.
I feel like there was some more, they focused on it more maybe than they would have.
Maybe.
But it was still, like you said, fleshed out.
Yeah. So thank you, Tally and Momma Craven. But we leave them and go back to Quinn's giant mansion. And they're outside now, and the gang's about to split up. So Scylla's dressed for the occasion and is wearing her fanciest blazer.
Looking hot.
She's, she's living her best spree life, being sexy, because that's part of being in the spree. So she's leaving, and Edwin is gonna stay with Quinn in the giant mansion, because who's living in this mansion, Quinn? Just you. Anyway, she gets a roommate. So
he gets the West Wing.
He gets the West Wing. So Scylla and Edwin are basically making peace in the scene before they part ways. And Scylla essentially tells him she's going to keep looking for Raylla because that's her plot. But there's going to be no more lies between them now because everything's out in the open. She doesn't need to lie to him. She's going to be super, super honest. And Edwin's like, thanks. And also like validates Scylla's existence by saying, I don't give a single fucking fuck about your past. Like, I'm basically judging you for who you are now. And everything I've seen is all good. So I trust you and I want you to know that. And so that was like the thing Freudian slip here. That was the thing Scylla really needed to hear for like ever, and finally gets it from Edwin. Because while Raylla did say it in season 1, like I don't care who you were, like you're with me now, it doesn't matter. She was been low-key judging her for being in the spree since season 2. So I'm glad Scylla got to hear it from Edwin, who's like, I 100% trust you because your actions speak louder than, your past kind of thing. So good for you, Scylla. You deserve that.
Somebody's giving Scylla the emotional support she needs.
Yeah, so there, she completed her Wizard of Oz journey right now in this scene.
She's got her emotional support, and it's from her father-in-law.
It's from her father-in-law, so good for you, Scylla, you deserve it.
Yeah.
So then they bookend their cute banter by essentially Scylla doing the skit they did at the beginning, where she's saying like, well, you're not going to forget, you have in mind like a steel trap, and then starts misnaming him, calling him Edgar, Evan, Eli, and then they hug. It's very, very cute, and do like a stay safe thing, and then she leaves, and Edwin stays with Quinn in the mansion. Who knows what they get up to? Probably hunting ghosts or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to see you get to hear, I should say, the Amalia trying to keep her accent out of it. The whole exchange. It was cute. I enjoy it every time it happens, and I have to point it out. So
very cute.
Dad jokes to an actual dad. I love it.
Yep. Good, cute bookend. I love it.
Yes, it was
now
very
it's their
nicely
inside
done,
joke.
Nikki. It is.
So.
Now they can misname each other all day long.
Exactly. That's growth and character development. Good job, Nikki.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
I know. We haven't seen it enough.
So, back to Tally and Momma Craven. Caitlin got into my notes earlier and put in a note for me, and all it says is, how is Tally always cute? Just always cute. Sorry. That was Caitlin's note on this scene. Anyway, Tally is busy. Tally and Momma Craven are doing the dishes, and I want to know what the hell Momma Craven thinks she's doing she's just doing this with the plate with her fingers. She's just washing the plate with her fingers, not an actual.
No, the way Momma Craven doesn't know what to do in the kitchen, it's obvious every time she's in the kitchen,
right? Like, was that in the actual script?
Like, do this, but do it wrong.
That was my first question.
Valid question.
So Tally's using her super sight while all this is going on, and she's drying the dishes, not paying attention to how badly her mother's washing the dishes. I hope Tally learned better.
I hope somebody else teaches Tally what kitchen etiquette is like, because she has no fucking idea.
But she's checking on the boys, and Momma Craven asks what they're up to. Turns out one is asleep and the other one's reading Tempest Bay. I think we can guess which one is. So Momma Craven's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to actually read that in case he asks any questions about it.
God damn it.
Like, damn it, I didn't want to read it. But, Tally brings up the time that she was about to leave for Fort Salem, and Mama C cooked for her and threw it all in the sink.
Mm-hmm.
And
we remember.
Mama C says, you should try it. It's great for, it's great catharsis.
Again.
And I'm like,
does she normally break dishes in the kitchen?
Yeah, like, is this a normal thing for her? Is this, like, I could see, like, some crazy matrifocal therapist being like, yes, girl, break the dishes. It'll cure all of your anxiety. And
Is this why she doesn't know how to clean them? Because she normally breaks them?
She just breaks them afterwards.
Like, she's like, my daughter's here. I can't be breaking dishes.
So Tally takes that advice and breaks the plate she's holding in the sink, and they both gasp, and it's like Good Girls Gone Wild or something, because they're both like,
oh, so cute.
Like, stop being so cute. Tally says it does feel pretty good, and they share this like sweet little moment, and it's the best.
Yes.
And then Tally apologizes for all of the, I guess, the stubbornness and back-talkingness that she did because she wanted to go into the army. And Mama C's like, nah, girl, I've never known you to apologize for... I cannot concentrate when you're doing shit like that. I lost my place.
I know.
I have ADHD, Caitlin.
She's dying in the background. This dog is making my leg fall asleep. You're uncomfortable, man.
We're all having problems.
I know. Get you.
So Mama C says, I've never known you to apologize for what you believe in before. And then Tally says, she's like, no, wait. It's because I understand what it's like to be afraid of a future that you can't control. And I'm like, girl, same.
Yeah,
I feel that hard. That's like a universal thing. So she tells Mom that she saw something and she has to prevent it. So this is her vision of Raylla that Abigail's been gaslighting her about.
Uh-huh.
And then Mom gives her a pep talk about trusting herself.
Yes.
AKA what Abigail should have said.
Uh-huh.
But she had to go all the way to NorCal. So, Tally says she can't believe how much her mom has changed, but I think correctly, Mama C points out that she doesn't think either of them have really changed. So they haven't changed, they just understand more. And then they exchange I love yous, and Mama C says the book club won't be the same without Tally, and I agree. I want a whole series of the book club. Can we not have that?
Yes.
And Tally would
Tally
be
a spinoff, yes. Caitlin is on board.
Caitlin would be over the moon. But yeah, this whole scene was really great, and you actually get to see them talk about the issues that they've had this entire series.
Yes. And
kind of come to a point of, I want to say concession, but it's not concession. What is it? Closure. Yes. And a point to move on forward from. So that was really nice. It's the best storyline in the episode, IMO. For satisfaction purposes, especially. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love how they did this too, because this scene in the kitchen bookends their first scene in the kitchen in the pilot. Mm-hmm. And it really demonstrates how the two of them have always been super similar. Like, they both had their beliefs and stuck to their beliefs, even when the other agreed. But when they get to the end, like here, they understand each other. And so Momma Craven's line, like you said, of like, we've always been like this, is very true. And it's right there in the pilot. Like, the way that both of them are so similar. It's just they believed opposing things. So they weren't on the same page. But here, they finally have come together and they have a common goal that puts their like similarities to productive use. And it's such a beautiful bonding moment too. And I love in the scene when I think Jess talks about it in After the Storm, where it's very much like this. It's not like mother-daughter. It's like a woman-to-woman, witch-to-witch kind of conversation where they're finally equals. Yes. And so it's just, it's very beautiful. And I love that it's also like playful and lovey and serious. And it hits all the notes so well. And Tally needed to hear this from somebody who loved her, because Abigail's been gaslighting her the whole fucking season. And finally, someone's like, hey, if you saw it, you saw it. Like, trust yourself. And that's really what Tally's been struggling with since the first episode this season, was when she was training with Nick on the roof, where she was like, hey, like, I mean, I believe this one thing, but the unit wants to do the opposite and I trust them. So even then she was having issues with just like trusting Tally as an individual, as a woman, as a witch. And so I love the way it all like gets resolved or settled, at least here with her mother. It's very, very beautiful. And Tally needed this so hard.
She really did. There's nobody else that she could really go to anymore, because if she said it to Abigail and Abigail did what she did, if she had said it to Scylla, Scylla would have been like, oh my Jesus, Raylla, what the fuck? But I think she also would have found a little bit of support there, at least. Yeah. But yeah, that would have been a lot of... She doesn't want to tell Scylla that because it's Raylla, and that makes sense. So,
right.
Especially since Abigail's making her second guess herself so hard.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Abigail's essentially feeding into Tally's insecurity she's had this whole time, which is, I don't trust me to be an individual. I'm doing this to be part of a whole kind of thing. So Abigail's gaslighting really was effective because Tally already had that fear. So I love the line I wanted to point out that Momma Craven says, where she says, I've never known you to apologize for what you believe in before. And that's Abigail's impact of this gaslighting. And so I'm glad Tally was able to finally reconcile that and grow from it. And hopefully now, when she reunites, she's gonna be like, fuck you, Abigail. I'm right. Follow me. Because, yeah, follow Tally. She's right. Make up your mind, man. All right. So that scene was awesome. Thank you, everybody that was involved with that scene. It was great. R.I.P. to the dishes, though. But, you know.
Yeah.
It's matrifocal therapy, I guess. Like you said. You make pottery and then you break it.
Exactly.
Yeah. The matrifocal compound. All right. So after that, we go back to bigotry. So, unfortunately. So, Blanton finally got Congress to vote on his invade the session bill. They're like, sure, whatever. And he's like, great. So he's announcing this to the world and signing the bill and basically saying, great, we're going to invade the session and then occupy it. Like it's a foreign country. So, and then he ends this disgustingness by essentially throwing more salt in the witch's wounds. I'm gonna murder this dog. By saying, essentially like, oh, in God we trust, basically, and may he bless us, like, again, because the witches believe in the goddess, the mother, so more dichotomous grossness is happening here. And as this nonsense is being broadcast to the world, we cut back to the session where this is on that one TV in the Fugitive Mansion. And Anacostia is in there to meet Thelma. And basically, she mentions, like, Adil and Abigail have made it to the session, but they're sleeping, I guess, somewhere. I don't know where. So it's just her. And, like, their mission, her and Thelma, is to, like, get Wade. Because if they get her, we can just end this disgustingness on the television. And Thelma's like, listen, the marshal has her. You've heard of him. If he doesn't want to be found, we're not going to find him. So, like, he'll come out when he's ready and when it's safe. So there's no Wade right now. And I don't know when that's... I have no timetable for you on this. As they're having this discussion, a bunch of people with, like, giant chests and maps, like, rush into the room. And Anacostia's like, who the fuck are these people? And Thelma's like, oh, them? Well, see. As an indigenous woman, I always knew these colonizers were going to come back for us. So I've been planning for this since forever. So welcome. This is my militia. So here's the deal. We're at a crossroads right now. And Thelma essentially gives Anacostia an ultimatum. And she's like, you, Abigail, and Adil, you're either with the army who's about to invade us, or you with us who's about to push back. You can't be on both sides, and you need to choose, like, right now. And we don't get an answer to that. But Anacostia's like, well, fuck, is what her face is saying.
We'll see in the next episode.
We'll see. My assumption is they choose the session, but I have no idea.
I think they choose the session, but Abigail has a little, like, hey guys with the army, let's do this, like, stop, like, who are you loyal to? Like, why?
Stop the violence.
Blah, 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 blah. Stop the violence.
Stop the violence. Yeah, literally, that was what happens. Yeah, so I think they joined the session. Oh my god.
All right. Now we go to Siberia.
Woo! Because of course we do.
Because of course we do. So, Will is chasing down 2 workers at one of the drill sites, and she turns them into mushrooms. So I whatever, okay, sure. And then Alder steps out.
Right, like the mycelium's just like, we're good now. Everybody come out to play.
I guess she was in there long enough.
I guess she's looking fly. Got her hair all done. She's in her normal Alder clothes.
Looking good. So she comes out from wherever the fuck she was standing when all this went on. Just watching, I guess. I don't know. And she knew where everything was going to end up? Question mark? Whatever. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So after the workers are turned into mushrooms, she and Willa step up to the hole, which is a sentence I never thought I would say.
Yep. Here we are. You brought us here, Nikki. Are you happy?
The hole in the ground where they've been pouring the fungicide. And it looks like the mycelium is trying to close it off. I guess basically successfully. And so this was the last drill site that they needed to do this at. And now the mycelium can heal itself.
Okay, because, like, thank God. Because I've been watching this the whole time and being like, they're like, oh, the mycelium, it's being poisoned. And I'm like, why isn't anyone at the drill sites then? We're just like, we keep saying it, but no one's doing anything about it.
Letting them pour that poison down there.
Why don't we stop this? Like, can't Isadora figure out, like, okay, listen, Isadora figured out through her mad mathematical physical skills the exact time when Penelope was poisoned through, like, witch plague vapor. You're telling me she can't look at the mycelium, do her science magic, and be like, okay, these are the spots where it's being poisoned. Let's do something.
Thank you.
Like, what the fuck? Okay, so I'm glad the mycelium was like, okay, the witches that are alive aren't going to help us. We need to do this shit ourselves.
I guess Willa took a break from putting blankets over Raylla. That poor girl has so many blankets over her at this point, keeping her asleep. It's such a... I know why it's weirding me out because it reminds me of Misery for some reason. Like a crossover between Misery and Mommy Dearest.
I mean, I'm glad it's happening, but I was, like, so confused why it wasn't happening sooner.
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
mycelium.
Like, where have you guys been this whole time?
Anyway.
Okay.
Okay, sure. I'm glad Willa has a role other than Raylla, so that's cool. Like, people are doing stuff.
The chemical plant thing was great and all, but nobody did anything after that, so...
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
They just got blamed for it, and no one... It is what it is. Whatever, moving on. So, Alder only has 2 more pieces of the first song to find, but before she can do that, she has to go do something else. And we go back to Fort Salem, where all the cadets are rushing to gather at this place near some trees, where it looks like the same area where they were doing the scourge work earlier, which I guess we're just using this one area to film.
It's their favorite field, I guess.
I don't know. These trees are great.
Yeah.
Alder, I guess it's the spot where Alder sneaks back on base again.
Yeah.
She doesn't really need to, because she's just appearing from the mycelium.
Hey, it's
whatever.
Alder.
It is what it is. So, Petra is walking with the civilian goon squad and stops So if you remember back to last episode when Mother Tongue class was shut down for good, you had Officer Cadet Cortez. So she pops up again, and I guess they're doing something with Cortez.
I guess.
So,
Penelope.
because here she is again. And So she stops her to ask what's going on, and Cortez, I guess, already knows because the word has spread that General Alder is alive. So Petra smiles, and Colonel Jackass just says, "That can't be, can it? You live in a world where witches do work."
I know.
Why is this so out of the realm for these people?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know.
Anyway, for people that are really afraid of witches, they're underestimating them.
Mm-hmm.
So they all go to find out, and the cadets are stomping. Yay.
Haven't seen that in a
while.
while.
And Petra pushes through to the middle to see Alder. And they have like a little moment, and Petra gets a little emotional. She gets a little emosh, if you will. And I think back in the other scene with Alder sneaking on to base, there was a line that Abigail had that was, "This isn't a witch's place anymore."
Oh yeah, she did have that.
And so I think this is why Alder had to go back, because she needs to remind everyone to have faith and fear not. This will always be a witch's place.
Yeah, she's almost being like the Jesus figure here.
Yes.
And it's like the gold sun, the healer, like, hey guys, I'm healing your spirits, keep fighting on.
This is a witch's place. It was founded as a witch's place. It always will be, etc., etc. Don't worry, we're gonna kick these bastards off. I'm gonna murder Caitlin.
Yeah. This is Alder talking, not Bree.
For miming while I'm trying to do this scene. So she and Petra like link arms in this handshake, and Petra's tearing up, and Alder tells her not to lose hope. And then Colonel Jackass finally decides to push through the crowd and finds that Alder has just disappeared into mushrooms.
As one does.
Very sweet. Love this scene. Love to see, Petra and Alder really actually get to have a moment. And Alder get to come back to Fort Salem in a more triumphant / giving everyone hope way.
It was also a very, like, genuine moment between Petra and Alder, because, like, everything we've seen up till now has been very, like, shrouded in their, like, bullshit, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice, too. It was, like, again, kind of like Tally and her mom. They were seeing each other as, like, equals in this moment, too.
Exactly.
Where Alder's kind of like, hey, I'm giving the pep talk, but, like, you ultimately have to, like, carry them forward into battle kind of thing. So it was really, like, an understanding of equals kind of thing that
They really both enjoyed. Have perspective now that they didn't have before.
Totally. And I will say a cute thing about, is it Officer Cortez?
Cadet. It's Officer Cadet Cortez.
Officer Cadet Cortez. Sorry, thank you. The actress, I guess, like, somebody pointed out her, like, energy in this scene is very, like, hyper and Tally-like, and I guess her note for this scene was, like, be Tally from season 1.
That's awesome.
That's such a cute direction, because, like,
yes, it is.
She kind of reminds me of, like, Tally, because she's very, like, excited about everything and optimistic, and so that's cute that was the actress's note as Officer Cadet Cortez. So very, very cute. And, like,
I love that she's interacting on Twitter too.
Yeah. And I also, like, love that, again, it's kind of like you have hope for the next generation kind of thing in that character. So it's like, they're the future, they're hopeful, optimistic, and that's what Alder's trying to give them. So I love that visual of, like, that one cadet. So beautiful. Good scene. So don't give up hope. The mother has a plan. But also, this is fucked up shit, too, because now the Camarilla saw her emerge as a mushroom, so now they're gonna know that that's how Alder's, like, transporting everywhere, even more so, so that's not great that they have more information about them. It makes me nervous every time they learn more things about the witches, personally.
Well, hopefully, Carissa Hercules will not pay attention again.
She doesn't give a fuck. She's like, listen, it's about the money. And Albin's like, no, it's about the science. And, like, that's kind of like, whatever. That never works out well. So here we are.
No, we're up to the recap. So I think that we could go pretty quick on this one.
Yeah.
Gross genealogical bullshit frog analogy. Alder is returned stronger, according to Albin. Car's happy that they can invade the session now because the council didn't give up the fugitives. So, the fugitives are splitting up. They're taking Abigail and Adil are taking Alder back to Fort Salem so she can go into the mycelium. Scylla is taking Edwin somewhere safe / going to contact Raylla, turns out, and Thelma's facilitating all this. Tally's going back home to NorCal to check in on her mom. And then we've got Anacostia and Sterling are back from their awful detainment / escaping and are pretty good to go. We've got Edwin worrying about Scylla and validating that she's like now part of his family. Tally and her mom go through a whole journey with the book club and bond, realize that they were always really similar and we're just both stubborn and we're on different sides of the issue. And now that they have perspective, they're good to go. Then we get Alder going back into the mycelium and one good scene from Petra and Abigail. One good Abigail scene with Petra. Abigail sees Penelope for the first time. Penelope freaks out, as you would if you were Penelope. Then we've got... They find... So back in NorCal, we should say that they've escalated the evil plot to do the whole concentration camp shit. We're getting there eventually. And the witches have to wear collars. They're removable for now. That's what the frog analogy was about. Eventually they won't be removable. So, Quinn has a giant mansion. For some reason. It's a really nice house. Can I live there, Quinn? That's where Scylla takes Edwin, and she eventually has to come clean. Don't know why it's her, but comes clean about Willa faking her death and all that good stuff, and that she actually died for real less than a year ago, saving Raylla, and that they met in the spree, which you don't want to go to that reunion. So we've got Scylla contacting Raylla while she's in the mycelium, and that one emotional moment where Raylla gets to hear not only Scylla, but her dad's voice, and they have a little chat before Mommy Dearest comes and breaks it all up. Then, so, book club steals a bunch of shit from the government building, finds the non-removable collars, burns the crap out of them because Momma Craven is cool and has work like that. We've got two people watching the Craven house. One of them seems like a goofy, I don't know, Barney Fife type guy, and the other one is a neo-Nazi asshole. So, that's fun. Except not. And Scylla and Quinn, well, more Quinn. Quinn summons Willa with her far speech. Also, we find out that far speech isn't common in the army anymore, apparently. So, WTF. But Willa refuses to give Raylla back and then apologizes to Edwin, which does not seem like enough at all. Period. Whatever. Okay, plot things. So, still, the whole plan for the army invading the session is for them to try to keep the violence to a minimum. Don't do what Colonel Jackass says. Just try to mitigate all of the stuff and things and find Wade. If we find Wade, that's the magic cure. Along with the first song, apparently, But is it really? Because what's going to happen when Wade comes back? They're not going to let her... No, she's going to magically die again or something. I don't know.
Does Wade sing the first song?
That's the question! At the wedding.
Oh my god. You know what I'm saying? They're putting a lot on Wade, is all I'm saying.
Like, it's all on Wade.
Yeah.
Holla holla.
Alright, sing this real quick. Like, wait, what?
I'm sorry, what? What'd you say?
I love Wade. She would try. Like, you know her. She'd be like, I'm gonna try my best.
Yeah, she would.
She would.
At least she's got the Marshall now.
Hey man, they can make it a duet.
They can.
They can.
Duet with the Marshall. I would buy that album.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. So we've got more bigotry on the way with the invasion and the fun stuff. But hey, Thelma Bear Killer has a plan and has had one for a long time because she knew this was coming and she has a militia. So props to Thelma. Not only is she a great travel agent, she is an amazing militia leader.
She has multiple brain cells. Good job, Thelma.
She does.
And she has kick-ass work, too.
Thank you. And can, like, freaking the Matrix duck wind strikes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, her defensive work, too.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah, she's badass.
Love it.
You should train the unit, because they don't know what they're doing.
Thank you. Thelma, we have a job for you besides the 95. Thelma is the Session Isadora.
Yes, holy shit. I was going to say the Session Scylla, but she is the Session Isadora. She's like, listen, you got to stop World War III. And then real quick, find the Marshal, who's impossible to find. And also, can you make soldiers out of these ridiculous people? Like, oh, man.
I see her as a cross between the Session Scylla and Isadora now that you said that, because she does have more of the, the badassness of the Scylla. Yeah. She does have the Scylla. She does remind me of Scylla. The Scylla energy with the I will fix everything. I have the resources.
Yes, that Isadora has. Yeah, exactly. Love it.
All right, so Willa and Alder, but so Willa stops the whole poisoning of the mycelium, and then Alder's like, okay, cool, I've only got 2 more pieces of the song to get, but first I'm going to appear at Fort Salem for one night only, and
like Vegas.
Exactly, and instill some hope in all of these witches that are still on base in the army. Super fun times there.
Yeah.
I think I left something out, but I can't remember what it is.
No, I think you got it all. That's basically it. Cool. Oh, I guess Isadora and Penelope.
Isadora and Penelope, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, Penelope's getting better, but she's still not quite human yet, but Isadora's working on it. Just keep her away from Abigail.
Thank you.
That's basically it.
Adele's still a doormat.
Adele's still a doormat. Oh, God, get him alive. All right. Caitlin, wake up. It's Caitlin's corner. You're supposed to wake up. You need your jingle.
I still did not make that.
I know. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Can you even read your notes at this point?
I was trying a couple minutes ago.
I feel like we should start the episodes with Caitlin's Corner.
Yeah, probably.
And put them in later.
Am I going to have to decipher your notes again?
No, it's just the first thing I put.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Caitlin. Welcome to Caitlin's Corner. As always, I have no idea what I wrote. But I do know I have.
Law and Order intro.
We have no idea what we're doing.
The names were changed to protect the innocent.
I have never seen it. Oh, I have some actual education in here, so hopefully I'm awake enough to explain it. But the first thing I have is I'm tired. I did write that, but it's because I was tired earlier, too. Alright. Now, focus. the coloring in the beginning feels like a different show. And I was thinking about it, and it's giving me like season 4 Supergirl coloring vibes.
Oh, in the conference room, you mean?
Yeah, and like outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I can see where you're going with that.
For sure. That's a good point. Yeah, and the way they shot it was weird too. And like, then they did that one shot with like Silver and Kara, and it was like the tilted angle.
Yes, that brings me to my next note. That is your education.
Yes.
Okay. I can't tell if I'm making too much noise. So that angle, that shot is called a Dutch angle or a Dutch tilt. It is used to make the audience feel uneasy. And so you get a wide shot in the boardroom, but the first shot you see that's close up is the Dutch tilt. And that's, from my research and my point of view, supposed to make it feel like, set the tone for the whole scene. And you're supposed to be like, what the heck is going on? And you're supposed to like feel disoriented.
Yes.
I did.
Then it goes, then it goes back to normal, but it, right after Albin says that Alder is stronger, that's when they cut to the 2 other dudes, and it's a Dutch tilt again because they're feeling uneasy. And that's, yeah. So every time Kara says something that pisses us off,
we get a Dutch tilt.
I'm Dutch so cool. Tilted at this because there's a gamer term. There's a gamer term where you say you're tilted, and that means like you're fucking about to throw your keyboard across the room. So I am Dutch tilted at Kara. Sifahar police.
I love that note. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you, Caitlin.
I was wondering why they did that. I'm like, that's weird. But yeah, that makes perfect sense.
A reason. I knew that there was a name for it. I learned it briefly, but I only went to basic film. I didn't do intermediate and advanced because I had way too many classes. Kara gets some good lines. I like her lines.
She does.
Sorry. She delivers them well too.
Yeah, okay. Props to the actress, not to the character.
Okay, bring it in. So when Alder is just sitting there and they're talking about her right next to her,
I know.
Can Alder hear them? Because like she looks at them, but like it's kind of rude.
She butts in, so you know she can hear them.
And there's another Dutch angle when Tally turns to look at Alder.
Ooh.
So really? I was thinking it could be because she feels bad for leaving her and going to California instead. Or it's that Alder is unwell and she is disoriented because she's like not feeling it.
So I like the sapphic version, but they both totally read. That's so good, Caitlin. I didn't notice that.
Alder feels sick in the episodes too, and we don't get that. So it could be the Tally feels bad and
yep.
Okay. The next one says, screw you, Abigail, just let Tally be the smart one because she always is.
We all co-sign on that.
Then all of a sudden she is hugging Scylla like she hasn't been a bitch to her since she met her.
Thank you!
I know, seriously. Holy fuck.
I love that Scylla has a dad now and that she got to bond with both of her future in-laws.
Yeah, she did. She did.
And I lost my place. I just keep reading the bitch over and over. I know we said
fair enough.
Yeah, it happens more than once, so.
I know we said Tally is a cat, but that run behind the car was really not stealthy.
No, not at all.
No.
It was comical Tally.
Momma Craven has a good poker face, or the guards are just stupid.
Both.
Book club eyes. That is all. I love Jessica. Jessica has such like expressive eyes.
Oh, book club eyes. I was like, what are you? Oh, when she says book club.
Yeah.
Book club. Hopefully Alder can slap some sense into Abigail. Maybe because they were alone together.
Someone
Because
needs
Adele was basically not there.
Yeah.
Did he even have lines? No, he had a few lines this episode. Sorry.
Not memorable, apparently.
No.
Alder is giving me the witch and Into the Woods vibe. And you guys do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
I played a cow in that show, but that's another story for another day.
That's awesome. I want to hear it.
That's another story. I swear this house, okay, so the house in the driveway that is Tally's house, doesn't it look like when they're in the session in season 2, when they go home to Raelle's and like the truck is parked and they're like on the front porch step?
Oh. Yeah, the driveway looks similar, but weren't there hedges though? I mean, they could remove it, but in the session house, I'm pretty sure like there's the red truck and then there's like greenery a lot close. Well, yeah, there were in Tally's neighborhood too. You're right. Yeah, maybe it's the same location in Vancouver.
Makes sense.
They just like have a different house. Maybe they green screen, blue screen the house or something.
I think they film it in Burnaby. I don't know. Isadora got so much thrown at her at once. Like, she got shocked that Abigail's there, and then all of a sudden Alder's alive.
I know. That's like a typical day for her.
And then Penelope goes berserk.
She made a nice curry, and now here we are, like her day's being ruined.
She didn't get to eat it! Oh, it's a bullshit. Justice for Isadora. What?
Why do I feel like Isadora and Alder dated? They were in a poly relationship with the mycelium.
Hey man. Love is love.
That could just be the future.
Could be.
Is Isadora more upset that Alder is going back, or she can't go to?
She can't go to.
Yeah, that one.
That's why she was mad.
So Momma Craven is okay with Tally putting herself in danger going into the building, but not the military.
Yes, because the military is basically the government is sending you to fight their wars and die, versus she's rationalizing what she's doing as like fighting oppression for herself and for witches. It's like I'm choosing to do this versus like the army is forcing me to do it.
Yeah, but Tally chose it because she didn't have to.
Tally did choose to join the army, but ultimately like the government dictates who Tally goes to kill when she's in the army versus like in the rebel thing. It's your choice to do everything. That's the only rationalization I can come up with.
That and their time has passed for one thing. So time has passed. She's reflected
Accepted
on things.
Yeah.
And then also the fact that this was the first time that Tally was leaving home. And her mother wouldn't have any control over what was going on. So
yeah,
like I get that. Also, they were doing this thing at the government building for like one night. The army is for pretty much your life. And she would not be there when Tally died. More than likely.
And I think too, they were trying to show that like, I forget if it's in season 2, might have been season 2, season 1, where Tally has a phone call with her mom, and her mom's like trying to come around, like she sends her like
season
this protection.
We haven't seen her since season 1.
You're right, season 1. Sorry, she sends her that protection charm. So like, I feel like her mom in all this time we haven't seen her was trying to like accept what Tally's decision. So like, maybe she's already accepted Tally's in the army, kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know, but you're right. It is inaccuracy.
Fine. The next thing I have just bugged me a little. The lighting when Scylla talks about Willa and her being in the spree. The lighting is off. Like, you can tell it's studio lighting because it's just such a, I don't, okay, so the only thing I could think of where this light source was coming from would be the lamp in the corner, but it doesn't match the color temperature.
No,
the color is too blue and the lamp is warm, so it just looks like she has a random spotlight in the dining room.
That bothered me too.
Like, it just,
well, I guess it was just
you
a
wanted
choice.
more shadows, but it makes no sense.
Guess it was a choice because the spotlight's on Scylla.
It's actually on all of them.
Yeah, it's Bree's just trying to give Scylla the spotlight here. Maybe their OG lighting like crapped out on them and they're like, fuck, we gotta film this right now. Just get a spotlight.
Relatable.
Shit happens, man.
I know.
They know.
I lost an entire documentary. I love when Anacostia is smug when she has good news. Like when she asked for the medals in the second season. I love that we get to see Willa and Edwin together.
Yes. Holy fucking shit. Finally.
I never thought that would happen.
Me neither.
This next one was something I was wondering. So if Raylla was there when the collars were burning, would she burn too?
That would be so funny. Oh, fuck, Mom, what the hell? Turn it off. Well, okay, listen, if Scylla's there, Scylla on the spot would, like, invent, like, the fire department or something and, like, figure out how to, like, douse the
sprinkler above Raylla.
Well, I never said that Scylla was there.
I'm just saying.
But no, we're saying that we put Scylla there.
Yeah, because her plot is Raylla.
Where Raylla goes, Scylla goes from now on. And once that bitch is out of the mycelium, they're freaking, like, handcuffed together for the rest of time.
Right. So Scylla will be there, and she'll invent some kind of dousing magic to make it stop. Just for Raylla.
Okay, I'm too tired to argue.
Let's eat this whole bag.
I love the dude that's running when the building explodes, because, like, it's just such a weird little scurry.
Right?
It's just so random.
It is. It really is.
My next one's Jess is really tall.
She is really fucking... How tall is she?
5'8" or 5'10"?
I think she's 5'8". She's 5'8".
That's how tall I am. That's awesome.
Oh, shit. I'm so short. Oh, no. She's 5'6 1/4".
5'6 1/4".
Really? That's it?
Yeah. It's just that Amalia and Taylor are really short.
Yeah, they look tiny.
Maybe it's Ashley that's 5'8".
Yeah, Ashley looks like the tallest.
Ashley is the tallest. Because you can tell because they stand in height order.
Correct.
I'm being a producer, sorry. Hers is not easily available.
That's where I've seen it before.
I really love Tally Jr.
Yeah.
She's adorable too. Ashley is 5'9".
There you go, 5'9".
Oh, there's something so sweet about the innocence. Okay. My last one. I said, risking getting yelled at again. If I understand my source correctly, Raylla with Tally should be reunited at the end of 7. Manage your expectations, people. But I don't know that, like, for 100% certainty, so I'm just saying. And that has been Caitlin's Corner.
Thank you for all of your thoughts and your educational tidbits. They're really, really helpful.
Yes, I like them.
No. I try to add some actual useful information than just reading off a bunch of
sleepy thoughts
that
I like the sleepy thoughts, though.
Yeah, I love it.
Kind of awake when I wrote them.
I like the sleepy delivery of the awake thoughts.
Yeah. That's so tired.
It's so true.
It's almost 1:30.
So
We're almost done.
You guys, who got your Big Witch Energy Award?
I thought about this a lot.
Go. You want to go first, Caitlin?
Sure. I give it to Momma Craven because I feel like she redeemed herself.
I gave it to Momma Craven.
Yes.
I wanted to give it to Edwin, but I couldn't.
Correct.
Honorary.
But also, like, Momma Craven, every single scene was Big Witch energy with Momma Craven. Every single one of them. The way she's just, like, everything. Like, her energy the whole time is like, listen, I know who I am. I'm doing me. I'm fighting Nazis. Like, come with me or not, daughter of mine. And then she does it. She blows up a government building. Like, that is Big Witch energy.
That, and she's got those surveillance goons outside her house this whole time, and she's just, like, handling them like it's nothing.
Yeah.
But she also noticed that her daughter isn't okay, and, like...
Yeah. And helped
Gave her the pep talk she needed.
Frick! Hi.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, she gets Best Mom Award also.
Yeah, their relationship.
Unlike Willa.
What were you saying, Caitlin, about their relationship?
Their relationship reminds me of my relationship with my mother. I don't know why that was relevant, but it is. Okay.
Well, that's all that matters.
What was I going to say? I don't know. Continue.
Who is your Laura Neal Award?
Me?
Everyone.
Kara.
I gave it to Kara too.
Kara said the freaking frog line, so she gets it.
Frog line. Okay, she was just...
Everyone else is just a puppet.
Yes, exactly. She was, like, running that meeting, essentially, where, like, Silver's, like, the face, but she's, like, running the shit. Ugh. Whatever.
It's gross.
I feel like Silver's a doormat.
Oh, he's definitely a doormat. He's a puppet. And she's the one pulling the strings.
But I keep saying this, and I'm sticking with it. I'll probably be wrong, but Hearst is getting... I hate that I feel bad for him. But, like, he's getting bullied so much by Kara.
Uh-huh.
I swear he's gonna defect to the witch's side by the end.
I definitely think something's going to happen because I'm with you. Because he had language in the one scene he was in when he's talking about the mycelium and he calls it the mother. He slips up and then he's like, mycelium. I meant So I don't know if it's like the vocal cords are rubbing off on him or like he's always kind of been somewhat not empathetic, but he seems to have this obsession with witches at least. If I'm talking to Bob, he seems to like have some kind of relationship with them that's been framed as this like mad scientist, but I think that it goes deeper than that. And there's something personal there with him, and it's starting to seep out a little bit because like he really doesn't have any support from his group. Like his whole goal is to like impress them, but it's really not working. And like Kara seems to be the highest person we've seen in the organization so far. And she's constantly shitting on him. So he's going to crack, you know, somehow. I don't know if he'll defect fully, but like he's going to crack when it comes to her. And like,
he'll probably
that's going to have
information to them.
Yeah.
Just delay the
correct. Exactly.
Make a decision,
sabotage. Yeah.
Make a decision where Kara pushes him over the edge. Yeah. And then he sees, so that's going, and then you have whatever's going on with him and his witch obsession, and it just culminates in him making one decision that changes something in the course of things, like lets some go or something to that effect.
I agree. Or like he gets older finally, and he's like, "You can go. It's fine. Whatever."
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. Yeah, one of those things. Yeah, I agree with you. Totally, because she's constantly bullying him, like you said, Caitlin. Like constantly.
Yeah.
In front of like world leaders
their whole lives, it seems.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there we are.
Like, I know he's technically a villain, but you could see the hurt in his eyes every time.
Well, that's because Bob's a good actor.
He really is a phenomenal actor.
I don't know. He's making us feel bad for him, and I don't like it.
Well, that's the whole thing about Motherland.
Yeah.
You see all the gray.
It's all perspective.
The gray. Never mind. I shouldn't have brought it up. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so definitely Kara. All right, so next episode, what's going to happen? All right, so it looks like the army is actually going to invade the session. So, like, at least they get to the border and all of that starts. We see Thelma in a collar. So, I like one of those witch collars. So, I guess she gets captured by somebody. The army, Camarilla, who knows? She was talking, so I assume the army.
I thought it was because it was like one of the session callers. So I thought it was whoever betrayed her.
Oh, maybe that's it. That makes more sense. It's not a red collar, but I don't know that they're carrying the red collars. But yeah,
Who
maybe
knows?
She gets betrayed. We'll see. Either way, she's getting captured by somebody. So that's not good. So I guess the marshal's not back. Wade's still MIA. Raylla comes back at some point, which I'm excited because that means Scylla will get her own plot line. Very excited for that. And Abigail does her grandstanding on that flipped over Humvee we saw from the trailer to the army, being like, remember who you are. Like, that speech happens. And she's in civilian clothes. So again, I assume they choose the session to be their like side, but who knows? And that's all I got.
Is that them trying to give Abigail something to do?
I guess. Yeah. I guess. To be like, look, she was always a leader this whole time. She just needed to be in the army.
Happy one.
I've also got Raylla trying to convince her mom to let her go back. So she's like doing the convincing at that point. Because it's like, there's a sneak peek where she's wakes up at the picnic and Willa's like, don't you remember we used to do this every Sunday when I was home? And Raylla's like, yeah, but can I go back? Basically, like, hi, these are the reasons I need to go back. Like, I get what you're doing, but at the same time, like, this is not sustainable. I need to go back to my peeps. And so I think that's how she gets out of the mycelium.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if they stop the fungicide from infecting the mycelium itself is strengthening, and then Raylla by extension is strengthening. So she's like coming back to her consciousness is what that scene is. Because before she's just like, what's going on? I'm tired. I need to sleep, and witch texting. So yeah, Raylla's strong enough to leave the mycelium is really what it is.
And then we have Tally and her vision. People, I know you don't see Scylla in the sneak or the trailer for the next episode, but that doesn't mean she's not there. Hi. Why? I don't understand this, like, the thing where people are freaking.
Tally and Scylla team up.
Yeah, it's in the episode description. Tally and Scylla team up. So Scylla will be there.
Scylla, yes.
Not 100% sure, but like...
Yeah, there could be something happen, but it's like, I very seriously doubt they're not going to have them, like, at least be like, oh, hey, how you doing, girl?
I mean, I think my anonymous source says yes.
There you go.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks. Everything is going to be fine. It's going to be fun. Things are starting to happen. We're finally going to get like a reunion of sorts, either this episode at the end, definitely in the next one. So it's all happening. We're getting there. People will get their own plot lines, I hope.
Yay.
Yay for plot lines. Yay for parents seeing their kids as adults. Let's just hope Wade's okay. Put all your best feelers out there for Wade. Light some candles for Wade. Apparently she's going to save the day. So keep the faith out. Trust in Wade. Huh?
We're going to need a lot of candles.
I know somebody who has a ton. Her name is Nikta Patan. She's also on the run. So find her. You'll get the candles.
Scylla has some of her stash, so...
They're in Quinn's mansion also. Why did Quinn have all those fucking candles?
Scylla brought them.
In the car. Okay, that makes more sense.
Scylla brought them from the session mansion.
Okay. Somebody had to adopt Nicta's candles, and Scylla's like, I'll take them.
No.
Nicta left them.
I'm a dramatic buy. I'll do it.
When they played I Spy for Roadkill, they stopped at a Walmart.
There you are. And spent all their money on candles.
I still like her taking them from the session mansion. So I just want to see Scylla dragging around this giant duffel bag full of candles.
Okay, then stopped at Walmart for beef jerky.
They definitely stopped somewhere for snacks. That's for sure. You can't do a road trip without it. Edwin knows that.
That's what Scylla was doing in the gas station. Getting the snacks.
She didn't come out with any snacks.
You don't know what was in her pockets.
She needed a lighter. That's what that was.
You didn't search your pockets. You don't know. Alrighty then. Thanks for watching us be really tired and talk about this episode.
Yeah, well, all right. Until next time, guys.
I have no idea what's going on.
None of us do, which means it's time to go. This is America. Goodbye, guys. And with that, we've been Big Witch Energy. If you like this episode, check out all of our other episodes right here on YouTube. Please like, comment below, and subscribe for more amazing content. Hydrate for Lesbian Jesus.